While Enoch was taking his rest, deep in slumber, two awe-inspiring beings materialized beside him. They were of a stature far exceeding any mortal man Enoch had ever witnessed on this earthly plane. Their visages shone with a brilliance akin to the sun itself, and their eyes blazed like eternal lamps. From their lips, fire seemed to emanate, and their raiment shimmered as if woven from feathers. Their arms, adorned with golden pinions, glowed beside his resting place. They then addressed him with a gentle summons, calling his name softly. Startled, Enoch awoke from his sleep. The celestial visitors spoke with words of calm reassurance, saying, "Be of good cheer, Enoch, and do not harbor fear. The eternal God has dispatched us to your side. And today you shall journey with us to the celestial realms." They then lifted him, placing him upon their mighty wings, and together they ascended, soaring above the terrestrial sphere. Borne aloft by the very clouds, they climbed ever higher, passing through the atmosphere and venturing deeper into the ethereal expanse until they reached the first of the heavens. There, the divine council revealed to Enoch profound truths concerning the universe, both earthly and heavenly mysteries. He also gained insight into the moment when the celestial beings themselves had faltered. As humankind flourished and expanded across the land in those ancient days, many comely daughters were brought forth by their lineage. The celestial watchers, the progeny of the heavens, observed these mortal women and were overcome by a powerful yearning. They conferred amongst themselves, declaring, "Let us select for ourselves wives from among the daughters of humanity and procreate with them." Semjaza, their principal leader, expressed his apprehension, stating, "I fear that not all of you will commit to this undertaking, and I alone will be left to bear the formidable repercussions for such transgression." However, his companions responded with unity, urging, "Let us pledge our solemn vow together, binding ourselves to this endeavor so that none may falter." Thus they collectively swore, their commitment sealed by a sacred promise. In total, there were 200 of them. They descended to earth during the era of Jared, alighting upon the pinnacle of Mount Hermon. They bestowed upon it the name Mount Hermon, commemorating the solemn oath they had sworn and by which they had pledged themselves. The names of their principal figures were Shemyaza, their chief, Arachiel, Ramiel, Kokabel, Tamiel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakijal, Asael, Armaros, Batarel, Ananel, Zakiel, Samsiel, Satarel, Turiel, Jermiel, and Seriel. These were their appointed commanders, each leading companies of 10. Alongside these leaders, the remainder of the angelic host took wives from amongst the women of the earth. Each chose a single consort, entering into them and thus defiling themselves. They imparted to these women arcane arts, incantations, the practice of root cutting, and revealed to them the secrets of botanical knowledge. The women conceived and gave birth to colossal giants, whose immense stature stretched to thousands of cubits. These giants consumed all of humankind's sustenance, and when the mortals could no longer provide for their insatiable appetites, the giants turned upon their creators, beginning to prey upon them. They committed abominations against birds, wild beasts, creeping things, and fish, and even resorted to devouring one another's flesh and drinking their blood. The very earth itself cried out, bearing witness against the lawless transgressors. Azazel, moreover, instructed mankind in the fabrication of swords, knives, shields, and protective cuirasses. He divulged the secrets of metallurgy, the methods of working with metals, and introduced the art of crafting bracelets and adornments, along with the use of antimony. He also imparted the skill of enhancing one's appearance, the appreciation of precious stones, and the application of dyes. Wickedness proliferated like an unchecked conflagration, with people succumbing to every form of sin, engaging in illicit unions, and becoming utterly corrupted in their conduct. Shemyaza taught the lore of enchantments and root gathering. Armaros instructed in the dismantling of magical bindings. Barakijal revealed the hidden knowledge of the celestial bodies. Kokabel expounded upon the constellations. Ezekiel taught the secrets of the clouds. Arakiel explained the terrestrial omens. Shamshiel revealed the celestial signs of the sun. And Sariel charted the lunar cycles. As humanity faced annihilation under the crushing burden of its depravity, their cries of profound suffering ascended to the heavens. Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, gazing down from their heavenly abode, were overwhelmed with grief at the sight before them. Blood stained the terrestrial landscape, and lawlessness had become a pervasive blight. They turned to one another in their distress, lamenting, "The earth, once a place of tranquility and solitude, now echoes with the lamentations of the afflicted. Their pleas have reached even the hallowed portals of the heavens, imploring justice. The very souls of humanity were interceding with the sanctified beings on high, beseeching, 'We implore you, present our case before the Most High.' In their anguish, the angels addressed the Lord, proclaiming, 'O Lord of lords, God supreme above all gods, King of kings, your resplendent throne has endured through every generation, and your name is eternally holy and exalted. You are the architect of all creation, and all things are subject to your dominion. Nothing can escape your perception, for you witness all. You observe the deeds of Azazel, how he has plunged the world into darkness by bestowing forbidden knowledge upon mankind, secrets that were meant to remain veiled in the celestial realms. And Shemyaza, who was granted authority over his followers, has led them to the earthly plane. They have taken mortal women as their consorts, defiling them, and through their sin, these women have borne monstrous giants. Now, the earth is saturated with spilled blood and steeped in iniquity. The spirits of the departed cry out to the heavens, their mournful voices impossible to quell. They weep for retribution for the grievous injustices being perpetrated upon the earth. And you, O Lord, possess foreknowledge of all events, perceiving this unfolding tragedy. Such ruin, and yet we cannot comprehend why you permit it. No guidance has been given. Then the most exalted, the holy and sublime one, finally spoke. His voice resonated with divine authority, and he dispatched Uriel to the offspring of Lamech. "Go to Noah," he commanded, "and declare in my name, conceal yourself. The end is nigh. The entire world faces utter annihilation by a colossal deluge. Everything will be swept away. Convey this to him so he may find sanctuary, and his lineage may endure to perpetuate the generations of humankind." The Almighty then addressed Raphael. "Proceed to Azazel, bind his hands and feet, cast him into the gloom, into the desolation of Dud. Excavate a profound chasm and hurl him within. Pile sharp rocks upon him, ensuring he remains entombed in darkness, never to behold the light again. There he shall reside eternally, and on the day of ultimate judgment, he will be consigned to the everlasting inferno. However, now, mend the earth. Purge it of the corruption sown by the celestial beings. Announce the land's restoration, so that not all of humanity perishes from the arcane knowledge the Watchers unveiled. The whole planet has been defiled by Azazel's teachings. Let him bear the burden of every transgression. The Lord spoke to Gabriel with a grave decree. Venture forth against the unholy progeny, the rebellious and corrupt. Annihilate the offspring born of sin, the children of the fallen Watchers. Pit them against one another. Let them engage in conflict and obliterate each other, for their allotted time is short, and they shall not long endure. He continued, as for their fathers, the Watchers, let no plea they utter on behalf of their offspring be heard. They harbored hopes of eternal existence, envisioning their progeny living for 500 years, but their aspirations will crumble to dust. Then the Lord turned to Michael. Bind Semjaza and his cohort, those who have defiled themselves by consorting with women and tainting their purity. When they witness their sons slaughtering one another, and behold the destruction of those they hold dear, bind them firmly in the bowels of the earth. There they shall remain imprisoned for 70 generations, until the final judgment, until the day of reckoning that stretches into eternity. On that momentous day, they will be plunged into the fiery abyss, into torment and eternal confinement, from which they shall never be liberated. Anyone condemned to perdition will be bound with them, sharing their grim fate for all ensuing generations. Erase the spirits of the corrupt and the offspring of the Watchers, for they have wronged humankind. Let all wickedness be cleansed from the face of the earth, and let righteousness and truth take root. May it be a blessing, a new dawn, where justice and joy will flourish eternally. The Lord promised, the righteous shall persevere. They will flourish and live long enough to beget thousands of descendants. They will live in peace from their youth to their twilight years, free from fear or sorrow. The earth will be cultivated with righteousness, adorned with trees, and overflowing with blessings. The most coveted trees will grace the land. Vines will yield an abundance of wine, and the seeds sown in the ground will bear fruit 1,000-fold. Even a modest measure of olives will yield 10 presses of oil. Purge the earth of all oppression, of every form of evil, sin, and godlessness. Wipe away the defilement that has tainted it. Then all the children of humanity will become righteous. Every nation shall adore and praise me, and all will worship. The earth will be purified from all impurity, sin, punishment, and torment. Never again will I inflict such suffering upon it, from generation to generation, forevermore. In those days I shall unlock the heavenly storehouses of blessings and pour them down upon the earth, rewarding the labor and toil of humanity. Truth and peace will walk hand in hand, enduring throughout all the days of the world and across every generation of humankind. Before these events transpired, Enoch had vanished, hidden from humanity's view. No one knew his whereabouts or what had become of him. Enoch's existence was intertwined with the Watchers, and he spent his days in the company of the celestial beings. I, Enoch, bless the Lord of Majesty, the King of all ages. Then the Watchers summoned me, Enoch the scribe. Enoch, they called, you scribe of righteousness, go and deliver this message to the Watchers of heaven, those who abandoned their sacred and eternal dwelling, who defiled themselves by cohabiting with women and acted like the children of earth. You have brought immense devastation upon the world. You shall find no peace, no absolution for your sins. Though you cherish your children, you will witness their violent demise. You will cry out and lament over their destruction for all eternity, but peace and mercy will never be yours. Enoch approached Azazel, the fallen one, and with a voice firm and resolute declared, Azazel, you shall know no peace. A harsh and unyielding sentence has already been decreed against you, and you shall be bound by it for eternity. You will find no mercy. No request will be granted to you. All this is due to the wickedness you have imparted to mankind, the ungodly ways and sinful acts you revealed to them. Enoch then gathered all the fallen watchers and addressed them collectively. A profound dread seized them, and they trembled, gripped by terror. Desperate, they pleaded with Enoch, imploring him to pen a petition for them, to beg for forgiveness on their behalf. They hoped he could present their plea before the Lord of heaven, for they could no longer raise their faces to the sky in shame, unable to speak to him after being condemned for their sins. Their guilt weighed them down like shackles. So, Enoch complied with their request. He drafted their plea for forgiveness, meticulously recording each of their spirits' desires and their deeds, asking for mercy and the extension of their days. Afterward, Enoch journeyed to the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, situated to the south and west of Mount Hermon. There, by the water's edge, he read their petition, pouring out their sorrow until exhaustion overcame him, and he fell into slumber. As he slept, visions descended upon him, vivid and laden with judgment. A voice echoed in his dream, commanding him to deliver this message to the sons of heaven and rebuke them for their actions. Upon awakening, Enoch returned to the watchers. They were gathered together, weeping in a place called Abel, nestled between the mountains of Lebanon and Sen, their faces hidden in grief and despair. With solemn authority, Enoch recounted to them all the visions he had witnessed in his sleep, and there, amidst their tears, he began to utter words of righteousness, rebuking the fallen watchers for their transgressions. This is the record of righteousness, containing the pronouncements of reprimand to the eternal watchers, as ordained by the Holy Great One, through the vision he revealed to me in the midst of my slumber. I have seen these things, and now speak them aloud with my human tongue, using the breath bestowed by the Great One upon mankind to communicate and to comprehend in our hearts, just as he granted man the capacity to grasp wisdom. So too has he endowed me with the power to rebuke the watchers, the once holy children of heaven. I have transcribed your petition, and in my vision I perceived the truth. Your plea will not be granted, not now, not ever. Judgment has been passed upon you for all eternity. From this moment forward, you shall never ascend to heaven again. You will remain bound to the earth, confined within its depths for all the days of the world's existence. Before this, you will witness the destruction of your beloved sons. You will find no joy in them. They will perish before your eyes, cut down by the sword. Even if you weep, even if you pray and utter all the words I have written, your pleas for their forgiveness and your own will not be heard. And then, in my vision, I was taken by beckoning clouds, and a mist enveloped me. The stars and lightning sped me onward, and the winds lifted me, carrying me into the heavens. As I was borne aloft, I approached a towering edifice constructed of pure crystal, encircled by tongues of fire. Fear gripped me. I entered through the fiery tongues and beheld before me a grand dwelling made entirely of crystal, with walls shimmering. The tessellated floor beneath my feet was also of crystal, as was the foundation, which gleamed with the same brilliance. The ceiling resembled the starry firmament, streaked with lightning, and between the lightning bolts, I saw fiery cherubim. The heavens above were as clear as water. Flames blazed around the dwelling, and its portals were consumed with fire. As I stepped inside, I was overwhelmed. It was as hot as fire, yet as cold as ice. There was no joy in this place, only dread. Fear took hold of me, and my entire body trembled. Trembling uncontrollably, I collapsed face down upon the ground. Then, as I lay prostrate, I saw another dwelling, even grander than the first. Its immense gates stood open, and it was constructed from flames of fire. Its splendor and magnificence were beyond description, far surpassing anything I could ever articulate. The floor of this dwelling was a river of fire, and above it lay the stars and lightning. The ceiling, too, blazed with flames. There, at the very heart of it all, I beheld a throne, towering and majestic. It gleamed like crystal, and its wheels shone like the burning sun, surrounded by cherubim. Streams of fire poured forth from beneath the throne, so fierce that I could not bear to look directly at it. Upon that throne sat the great glory. His robe was brighter than the sun, purer than the whitest snow. Not even the angels could enter or behold his countenance. So great was his majesty and splendor, no mortal could endure to gaze upon him. His flames encircled him, and a vast fire burned before him. No one dared approach him, yet before him stood 10,000 times 10,000, though he required no counsel. The holiest one stood by him, never leaving his side, neither by day nor night. Still trembling, I lay with my face to the ground, unable to move. Then the Lord called to me with his own voice, saying, "Come, Enoch, and heed my words." One of the holy ones approached me, gently awakening me. He lifted me up, guiding me towards the entrance with my face bowed low. I obeyed, and he addressed me, his voice strong and full of power. "Do not be afraid, Enoch, righteous man and faithful scribe of truth. Draw nearer and hear my words. Go and tell the watchers of heaven, who have sent you to plead on their behalf. It is not men who should plead for you, but you who should have interceded for men. Why did you abandon the exalted, holy, and eternal heaven? Why did you lie with women, defiling yourselves like the daughters of men, taking them as wives and begetting giants, your corrupted offspring? Though you were once pure spiritual beings who lived eternal lives, you stained yourselves with the blood of women and produced children of flesh. You craved the desires of mortal flesh and blood, like those who perish and fade away. I gave men wives so they could bear children and ensure nothing was lacking on the earth. But you were not like them. You were once spiritual, living eternally, never destined for death. Thus I did not grant you wives, for the spiritual dwell in heaven, not on earth. But now the giants, your offspring born of spirits and flesh, shall be called evil spirits on earth, and here shall be their cursed abode. From their bodies evil spirits have emerged. Their origin lies with you, the fallen watchers. These evil spirits will dwell among men, bringing havoc upon the earth. These spirits will be called evil because they originate from both human and heavenly flesh. They belong to neither, yet they shall torment both. The spirits of the heavenly beings remain in heaven, but the spirits born from the earth from your sin shall remain bound to it eternally. These spirits of the giants shall inflict suffering. They afflict, oppress, destroy, and wage war. They require no sustenance, but are ever hungry and thirsty. Their endless cravings cause misery, and they will rise up against men and women, for they are born of both. Since the days when the giants were slain, their spirits have wandered the earth, destructive, rebellious, and relentless. They shall continue to torment until the day of the final judgment, when all will be brought to an end, both for the watchers and the godless alike. It is on that day that the age will be fully completed. Now, concerning the watchers who sent you to intercede on their behalf, tell them this. Yes, you once dwelt in heaven, but not all the mysteries were revealed to you. Instead, you grasped at knowledge in the hardness of your hearts. You made these hidden things known to women. Through this, men and women alike now commit great evil on the earth. Therefore tell them, you shall find no peace, neither in heaven nor on earth. Enoch was taken to a place where those dwelling there blazed like flames of fire. But when they wished, they could appear as men. Enoch was brought to a vast mountain whose summit reached the very heavens. He observed the repositories where the stars and celestial lights are kept, and the deepest depths where thunder, lightning, and fiery weapons, arrows, and a flaming sword are stored. He was led to living waters and to the blazing fire in the west, where the sun sets each evening. Enoch arrived at a river of fire, its flames flowing like water, emptying into the great western sea. He beheld the mighty rivers of the world and journeyed into the darkness to a place where no living creature can tread. He observed the mountain shrouded in winter's shadow and the source from which the waters of the deep originate. He saw the mouths of every river and the entrance to the vast depths below. Enoch witnessed the storehouses of all the winds and observed how they were arranged to shape creation and establish the strong foundation of the earth. He saw the cornerstone of the earth and the four winds that uphold both the earth and the sky. He watched how the winds spread out the sky, standing between heaven and earth like pillars supporting the heavens. He saw the heavenly winds that guide the sun and steer the stars in their courses. He observed the winds on earth, carrying the clouds and the pathways of the angels at the edge of the earth. He looked upon the sky above. He proceeded further and discovered a place burning day and night with 7 magnificent mountains, 3 to the east and 3 to the south. The eastern mountains were fashioned from colorful stone, pearl, and jasper, while the southern mountains were of red stone. The central mountain rose high into the heavens like God's throne, made of pure alabaster with a sapphire summit. Flames burned before him, and beyond these mountains lay the end of the earth. He saw where the heavens were completed. There was a deep abyss filled with columns of heavenly fire, stretching beyond his ability to measure in both height and depth. Beyond that abyss, he saw a place with no sky above and no solid ground below, an empty, desolate wasteland. There, he observed 7 stars burning like great mountains, and upon inquiring about them, the angel informed him, "This is the boundary of heaven and earth. This is the prison for the stars and the celestial beings. These stars, which roll over the fire, are those who disobeyed the Lord's command. They failed to ascend when they were meant to, and because of their disobedience, he became angered with them and bound them here until the time when their guilt will be fully judged, even for 10,000 years. Uriel declared to Enoch, "Here shall stand the angels who defiled themselves by taking human women. Their spirits now assume many forms, leading mankind astray, and causing them to worship demons as gods. Here they shall remain until the great day of judgment, when they will finally be destroyed. The women who are led astray by these angels will become sirens, luring men to their doom. And Enoch alone witnessed this vision, the end of all things. No other mortal shall behold what he has seen. Enoch continued his journey with the holy angels, who revealed to him the mysteries of the cosmos. He was introduced to the celestial guardians who oversee humanity. These are the names of the holy angels, Enoch began. Uriel, who oversees the world and the depths of Tartarus. Raphael, who watches over the spirits of men. Raguel, who enacts vengeance on the world of the luminaries. Michael, who is set over the noblest part of humanity and over chaos. Suriel, who is set over the spirits of those who sin in spirit. Gabriel, who watches over paradise, the serpents, and the cherubim. Remiel, whom God has appointed over those who rise from the dead. Enoch was then transported to a place of utter chaos. He beheld something terrifying. There was neither heaven above, nor a securely founded earth below, only a realm of complete disorder and horror. In that place, he observed 7 stars bound together within this chaotic expanse, burning like colossal mountains of fire. Enoch inquired, "For what transgression are these stars bound? Why have they been cast here?" Uriel, one of the holy angels accompanying him, and chief among them, responded, "Enoch, why do you ask? Why are you so eager to know the truth? These stars are among those who transgressed the commandment of the Lord. They are bound here until the 10,000 years of their transgression have been fulfilled." Enoch was then taken to another place, even more dreadful than the first. There he witnessed an immense fire that blazed and burned, cleaving down to the abyss, filled with colossal columns of fire. Its vastness was beyond his comprehension. He exclaimed, "How terrifying this place is! How awful it is to behold!" Uriel, the holy angel, replied, "Enoch, why are you so frightened?" Enoch answered, "Because of this fearful place and the sight of such intense torment." Uriel then stated, "This is the prison of the angels, where they will be confined forever." Enoch was then led to yet another location, and Uriel showed him a great and lofty mountain in the west, fashioned from solid rock. Within it were 4 hollowed spaces, deep, wide, and incredibly smooth. They were dark and frightening to behold. Raphael, one of the holy angels accompanying him, explained, "These hollow spaces have been created for the spirits of the deceased, so that all the souls of the children of men may gather here. These places will hold them until the day of their judgment, when their appointed time arrives." Enoch saw the spirits of the children of men who had died, and their voices ascended to heaven, pleading for justice. He asked Raphael, "Whose spirit is this that cries out so desperately?" Raphael responded, "This is the spirit of Abel, whom his brother Cain murdered. His voice cries out for vengeance until Cain's descendants are eradicated from the face of the earth." Enoch then inquired about the different hollow spaces, asking why they were separated. Raphael explained, "These 3 divisions have been established to segregate the spirits of the righteous from those of sinners. In one of these places there is a luminous spring of water for the righteous. Another has been designated for sinners who died without facing judgment during their lifetimes. Here their spirits will be held in great anguish until the day of judgment, when they will confront their punishment and torment. There they will be bound eternally, and their spirits will find no peace." A third division has been made for those who cry out for vengeance, whose lives were cut short by the wicked. And another is for the spirits of men who were sinners, entirely corrupt in their transgressions. They shall remain together in torment, but they will not be destroyed on the day of judgment, nor will they ever rise again. Enoch then offered praise to the Lord of glory, exclaiming, "Blessed be the Lord of righteousness, who reigns eternally." He then journeyed to a region west of the earth's extremities, where he beheld an unending conflagration that never ceased its fiery path day or night, continuing its relentless course without a moment's rest. Curious, he asked, "What is this relentless fire?" Raguel, one of the holy angels accompanying him, replied, "This is the western fire you observe, which relentlessly pursues all the celestial lights of heaven." Enoch traveled further to another location on the earth and was shown a range of fiery mountains that burned ceaselessly, both day and night. Moving past this, he saw 7 grand mountains, each unique and magnificent. 3 rose majestically in the east, one above the other, and 3 in the south, similarly stacked with rugged separate ravines between them. The 7th mountain stood in their midst, towering above the others like a throne, surrounded by aromatic trees. Among these trees was one unlike any Enoch had ever encountered. Its fragrance was unparalleled, and its leaves, blossoms, and wood never withered. Its fruit was as delectable as palm dates. Enoch admired the tree's beauty and its delightful fragrance, noting the loveliness of its leaves and blossoms. Michael, the revered leader of the holy angels, responded to Enoch's wonder. Michael asked, "Enoch, why are you so curious about the tree's fragrance, and why do you seek the truth about it?" Enoch replied, "I wish to comprehend everything, particularly regarding this extraordinary tree." Michael explained, "This towering mountain you behold, with its summit resembling God's throne, is indeed his throne. The Holy Great One, the Lord of Glory, the Eternal King, will one day descend to earth to visit in kindness. Until the great judgment comes, no mortal is permitted to touch this fragrant tree. At that time, when divine justice is dispensed and all is brought to its final state, the tree will be bestowed upon the righteous and holy. Its fruit will nourish the chosen ones, and the tree will be transplanted to the sacred place, the Lord's eternal temple. Then they will experience joy and happiness and enter the holy place. Its fragrance will enrich their beings, and they will live long, fulfilling lives, free from sorrow, sickness, torment, or disaster, just as their ancestors did." Enoch then praised the God of glory, the eternal King, who had prepared such blessings for the righteous and promised to bestow them. Enoch journeyed to the heart of the earth and discovered a blessed place with ever-blooming trees. There he observed a sacred mountain with a stream flowing eastward towards the south. To the east, he noticed another mountain, taller than the first, separated by a deep, narrow ravine with a stream running beneath it. To the west, a lower mountain was situated, separated by a dry, deep ravine with another similar ravine at the ends of the 3 mountains. All these ravines were narrow and deep, carved from solid rock and devoid of trees. Enoch marveled at the rocks and the ravines, astonished by their formidable appearance. He wondered aloud, "What is the purpose of this blessed land, filled with trees, and the cursed valley in between?" Uriel explained, "This cursed valley is reserved for those eternally condemned. It is the gathering place for those who have uttered blasphemies against the Lord and his glory. Here, the accursed will face their judgment in the end times. The righteous will witness this scene of divine judgment, and the merciful will bless the Lord of glory, the eternal King. On the day of judgment, they will praise him for his mercy, which determined their fate. Enoch then praised the Lord of glory, celebrating his divine majesty and grace. Enoch journeyed east into the heart of a mountainous desert and discovered a desolate wilderness teeming with trees and plants. Water flowed abundantly from above, rushing northwest and creating clouds and dew that spread in all directions. Continuing east, Enoch arrived at another desert location. There, he saw aromatic trees emitting the sweet scents of frankincense and myrrh, akin to almond trees. Further east, Enoch came upon a valley filled with water. In this valley stood a tree with a fragrance resembling mastic. Along the valley sides, he saw fragrant cinnamon trees and moved on further east. Enoch discovered new mountains where he found groves of trees producing nectar, known as Sarah and galbanum. Beyond these mountains, he saw another range to the east, covered with aloe trees that were filled with resin and resembled almond trees when burned. The aroma of these trees surpassed any other fragrance. Looking north over the mountains, Enoch observed 7 peaks, abundant with precious spikenard, fragrant trees, cinnamon, and pepper. He traversed the peaks of these mountains, journeyed east past the Ithran Sea, and continued far beyond, passing over the angel Zotiel. He reached the Garden of Righteousness and observed many large, beautifully fragrant trees, including the tree of wisdom, which bestows profound knowledge upon those who partake. This tree was as tall as a fir, with leaves like those of the carob tree and fruit resembling vine clusters, exuding a far-reaching fragrance. Enoch marveled at the tree's beauty and allure. Raphael, the holy angel with him, explained, "This is the tree of wisdom. Your aged father and mother before you ate from it and gained wisdom. Their eyes were opened, and they realized their nakedness, leading to their expulsion from the garden." Enoch traveled to the farthest reaches of the earth and encountered a variety of majestic beasts, each unique in form. He also observed birds, each distinct in appearance, beauty, and song. To the east of these creatures, he saw where the heavens touch the earth and the portals of the heavens open wide. He witnessed how the stars emerged from these portals, counting and recording each star's exit, noting their names, paths, positions, timings, and months, as shown to him by Uriel, the holy angel accompanying him. Uriel revealed and documented everything for Enoch, including the stars' names, their laws, and their groupings. Enoch then journeyed north to the edge of the earth, where he saw a magnificent sight at the very extremities of the world. He observed 3 portals in the sky through which the northern winds emerge, bringing cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. When the winds blow from one of these portals, they are gentle and beneficial. However, when the other 2 portals release their winds, they come with harshness and suffering, creating tumultuous conditions on earth. Moving west to the far reaches of the earth, Enoch saw 3 more heavenly portals, identical to those he had observed in the east, with the same number of openings. Enoch traveled south to the extremities of the earth and found 3 open heavenly portals there, from which dew, rain, and wind emerge. Returning to the east, he saw 3 eastern portals of heaven open, along with smaller portals above them. Through these smaller portals, the stars traverse their paths westward, following their designated routes each time. Enoch observed these wonders, praising the Lord of glory, celebrating his magnificent creations and the greatness of his work. He blessed the Lord for demonstrating his power to angels, spirits, and humanity, so that all might admire and honor his mighty deeds and eternal craftsmanship. Enoch spoke his words of blessing to the elect and righteous, those who will endure the trials of the final days when the wicked and godless will be removed. He saw a vision of the Holy One in the heavens, revealed to him by the angels. From them, he heard and understood everything he saw. But this message is intended not for his generation, but for a future one yet to come. Regarding the elect, Enoch prophesied, "The Holy Great One will emerge from his dwelling, and the eternal God will set foot upon the earth, upon Mount Zion. He will appear from his divine encampment and reveal his mighty strength from the highest heaven. All will be struck with terror. The watchers will tremble, and a profound fear will grip the earth. The lofty mountains will shake, the high hills will be flattened, and they will melt like wax before a fire. The earth will be torn apart, and all upon it will perish in a final judgment upon all humanity. Yet he will grant peace to the righteous, protect the elect, and show them mercy. They will belong to God, be prospered and blessed. He will support them, shine light upon them, and make peace with them. Behold, he will come with thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all, to destroy the ungodly, to convict all flesh of the wicked deeds they have committed, and all the harsh words spoken against him. Observe everything that transpires in the heavens, how the celestial bodies maintain their orbits, and how each luminary rises and sets precisely according to its season, never deviating from its appointed path. Look at the earth and pay attention to its consistent patterns. From beginning to end, nothing changes. All the works of God are evident. Notice how summer and winter fill the earth with water, clouds, dew, and rain. In winter, observe how trees seem to wither and shed their leaves, except for 14 trees that retain their foliage for 2 to 3 years until new leaves emerge. During summer, observe how the sun remains directly overhead, causing intense heat. You seek shade from its scorching rays, and the earth becomes too hot to walk upon. Watch how trees become green and bear fruit. Understand and recognize the works of God, who has made everything so that all his creations function the same year after year, performing their tasks as he has decreed, and their roles remain unchanged. Similarly, the sea and rivers follow their divine commands without altering their functions. But you have not been steadfast, nor have you followed the Lord's commandments. You have turned away and spoken harsh, prideful words against his greatness. Therefore, your days will be cursed, and the years of your life will be consumed with eternal damnation and no mercy for you. In those days, your names will become an eternal curse among the righteous, and those who curse will do so in your name. The sinners and godless will invoke curses because of you. For you, the ungodly, there will be a curse. The righteous will rejoice, finding forgiveness, mercy, peace, and salvation. They will receive a bright light. But sinners will find no salvation. Only a curse will be upon them. For the elect, there will be light, joy, and peace, and they will inherit the earth. Wisdom will be granted to the elect. They will live without sinning again, free from ungodliness and pride. Those who are wise will be humble. They will never transgress again. They will not face divine anger or wrath. Their days will be fulfilled in peace. Their lives will be filled with eternal joy and peace throughout all their days. Enoch, the son of Jared, grandson of Mahalalel, and descendant of Adam, shared the second vision he received, a vision of wisdom. This vision marked the commencement of Enoch's prophetic declarations, which he imparted to the inhabitants of the earth. Listen, all you who have lived before and all who will come after, to the pronouncements of the Holy One, spoken before the Lord of Spirits. Though it might seem fitting to reveal these truths solely to the ancients, this wisdom could not be withheld from those living now or from future generations. Until this moment, such insight had never been bestowed upon anyone by the Lord of Spirits, who granted Enoch the gift of eternal life. Enoch had received 3 great parables, which he now imparted to the people on earth. A time will come when the righteous will be gathered together, and the sinners will face judgment for their deeds. They will be expelled from the earth. When the righteous one, whose actions are perfectly aligned with the Lord of Spirits, reveals himself to the righteous, a brilliant light will shine upon those chosen by God. But where will the sinners hide? Where will those who denied the Lord find rest? It would have been better for them if they had never been born. When the secrets of the righteous are unveiled and the wicked are judged, the powerful and exalted of the earth will lose their status. They will be unable to stand before the Holy One, for the Lord of Spirits will illuminate the faces of the righteous and the elect. The mighty rulers will perish and be handed over to the righteous and holy. From that point on, they will no longer be able to seek mercy from the Lord of Spirits, for their lives will have ended. In those days, holy and chosen children will descend from the heavens and unite with the children of men. Enoch received sacred writings filled with fervor, judgment, and sorrow. Yet no mercy will be granted to the wicked, declares the Lord of Spirits. One day, a whirlwind carried Enoch away from the earth and placed him at the edge of the heavens. There, he witnessed the abodes of the holy and the resting places of the righteous. He saw how they prayed and interceded for humankind, with righteousness flowing like an endless river, and mercy descending like gentle dew upon the earth. This state of righteousness and mercy will endure forever. In that sacred place, Enoch saw the chosen one, the embodiment of righteousness and faith, whose dwelling was under the protection of the Lord of Spirits. His reign would be marked by justice, and the number of the righteous who stood before him would be countless, lasting forever. These righteous ones would shine like blazing lights, their mouths filled with praises and their lips ever uttering praises to the name of the Lord of Spirits. Righteousness would never fade from their presence. Enoch yearned to dwell in this place, his spirit longing for this divine realm. It had always been his destined portion, established by the Lord of Spirits. During that time, Enoch praised and exalted the name of the Lord of Spirits, recognizing his own blessing and glory as a result of divine will. For a long time, Enoch's gaze was fixed on that holy place, and he blessed and praised God, declaring, "Blessed is he, and may he be blessed from the very beginning until the end of time. There is no end before him, for he knows all things from before creation and throughout every generation. The eternal beings who never sleep stood before his glory and continually sang his praises. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord, Lord of Spirits, who fills the earth with his presence. Enoch saw these ageless beings, always awake, always blessing, and sang, "Blessed be thou, and blessed be the name of the Lord forever and ever." As Enoch beheld this vision, his countenance transformed, overwhelmed by its radiance, and he could no longer endure the sight. After this, Enoch saw an innumerable multitude, thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000, standing before the Lord of spirits. Surrounding the Lord on all four sides were four distinct presences, different from the eternal beings Enoch had seen before. An angel who accompanied him revealed their names and showed him all the hidden truths. The voices of these four presences rang out in praise before the Lord of glory. The first voice, "Praise the Lord of spirits eternally." The second voice, "Blessed be the elect one and the chosen ones who rely on the Lord of spirits." The third voice, "Pray and intercede for the people on earth, pleading in the name of the Lord of spirits." The fourth voice, "Stand firm against the Satans, preventing them from accusing the people of the earth before the Lord of spirits." Enoch then asked the angel of peace, who had shown him all these hidden things, "Who are these four presences whose words I have heard and recorded?" The angel responded, "The first is Michael, the compassionate and patient one. The second is Raphael, who oversees all diseases and wounds of humanity. The third is Gabriel, who is in charge of all the powers. The fourth is Uriel, who oversees the repentance and hope of those who will inherit eternal life. These are the four angels of the Lord of spirits, and the voices you heard were theirs." Next, Enoch beheld all the secrets of the heavens, how the kingdom is organized and how the actions of people are measured. He observed the dwellings of the elect and the holy, and witnessed sinners being expelled from these sacred places for denying the name of the Lord of spirits. They were dragged away, unable to remain due to the punishment that came for the Lord of spirits. Enoch also saw the secrets of lightning and thunder, the division of the winds as they blow across the earth, and the mysteries of clouds and dew. He observed their origins and how they saturate the dry earth. He saw the chambers where the winds are divided, including the chambers of hail, mist, and clouds, which have hovered over the earth since the world began. He witnessed the chambers of the sun and moon, observing their paths and their glorious returns. He saw how one is superior to the other in their majestic orbits, noting that they never stray from their paths. They neither add to nor subtract from their courses, and remain faithful to their celestial oath. The sun follows its path according to the command of the Lord of spirits, whose name is mighty forever. Enoch also observed the hidden and visible paths of the moon, which completes its course day and night. Both sun and moon, positioned opposite each other before the Lord of spirits, give thanks and praise without rest. Their very existence is a testament to thanksgiving. The sun brings either blessing or curse, while the moon's path brings light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners, as decreed by the Lord, who separated light from darkness. He divides the spirits of men, strengthens the spirits of the righteous, and judges all with his righteousness. No angel or power can hinder this divine order. All are judged before him. Wisdom, initially unable to find a dwelling place, was eventually given a home in the heavens. When wisdom sought to reside among humanity, she found no suitable place, and returned to her celestial realm, taking her seat among the angels. Meanwhile, unrighteousness emerged from her chambers, seeking but failing to find a place among the righteous. Instead, unrighteousness settled among those who were lost, like rain in a desert or dew on parched land. Enoch witnessed an inspiring sight: countless flashes of lightning and stars of the heavens, all called by their names, responding to the Lord of spirits. He observed how these celestial bodies were weighed in a just balance according to their light, and how their distances, appearances, and revolutions were meticulously measured. Their movements were synchronized with the number of angels, demonstrating their faithful coordination. Curious about these celestial phenomena, Enoch inquired of the angel who accompanied him, "What are these?" The angel replied, "The Lord of spirits has shown you their symbolic meaning. These are the names of the holy ones who dwell on earth and remain steadfast in their faith in the Lord of spirits forever." Enoch saw another remarkable sight concerning the lightning. Some stars transformed into lightning and remained in this new form permanently, unable to return to their original state. Enoch began recounting the second parable, addressing those who reject the sacred dwelling places of the holy ones and the Lord of spirits. Such individuals will never ascend to heaven, nor find peace on earth. This is their fate. Those who have denied the name of the Lord of spirits are reserved for a day of great suffering and tribulation. On that day, the elect one will sit upon the throne of glory and judge their deeds. Their resting places will be countless, and their souls will find strength as they witness the elect ones and those who have called upon the glorious name of the Lord. Then the elect one will dwell among them. The heavens will be transformed into a realm of eternal blessing and light, and the earth will be made a place of blessing. The elect ones will inhabit it, while sinners and wrongdoers will be barred from entering. The righteous will be granted peace and will dwell in the presence of the Lord. But for the sinners, judgment awaits. They will be eradicated from the earth. In Enoch's vision, he beheld a figure with a head of days, whose hair was white as wool. Accompanying this figure was another being with a countenance like that of a man, radiating grace akin to the holy angels. Enoch asked the angel who guided him about this Son of Man, "Who is he? Where did he come from? And why does he accompany the head of days?" The angel explained, "This is the Son of Man, who embodies righteousness. He possesses righteousness, reveals hidden treasures, and has been chosen by the Lord of spirits. His place of honor before the Lord of spirits is eternal and upright. And this Son of Man will topple kings and mighty rulers from their thrones, shatter the power of the strong, and destroy the wicked. Those who fail to praise and acknowledge the origin of their power will be cast down. Their faces will be filled with shame, and they will dwell in darkness and decay, with no hope of redemption, because they did not honor the name of the Lord of spirits. These are the ones who judge the stars of heaven, rebel against the Most High, and tread upon the earth with their unrighteous deeds. Their power is based on their wealth. Their faith rests in the gods they have fashioned with their own hands, and they deny the name of the Lord of spirits. They also persecute the congregations and faithful who rely on the Lord's name. In those days, the prayers of the righteous and the cries of the innocent blood shed upon the earth will rise before the Lord of spirits. The holy ones dwelling in the heavens will unite their voices in a powerful chorus of supplication, prayer, praise, and gratitude, seeking that the blood of the righteous and their prayers not be in vain. They will plead for justice to be done and for the righteous to be spared from eternal suffering. Enoch saw the head of days take his place on the throne of glory, where the books of the living were opened before him. All the heavenly host and his counselors stood in his presence. The hearts of the holy were filled with joy, because the number of the righteous had been fulfilled, their prayers heard, and their blood accounted for before the spirits. In that vision, Enoch beheld an endless fountain of righteousness, surrounded by many fountains of wisdom. All who thirsted came to drink from these fountains and were filled with wisdom. They found their homes among the righteous, holy, and elect. At that moment, the Son of Man was named in the presence of the Lord of spirits, and before the head of days, even before the sun and the celestial signs were created, and before the stars of heaven were formed. His name was established before the Lord of spirits. He will serve as a support for the righteous, guiding them to stand firm and not fall. He will be a beacon of light for the Gentiles and a source of hope for the troubled. All who dwell on earth will bow before him, praising and blessing the Lord of spirits. This Son of Man has been chosen and concealed before the creation of the world, and will remain so forever. The wisdom of the Lord of spirits has revealed him to the holy and righteous, as he has preserved their lot. They have scorned this world of unrighteousness and its ways in the name of the Lord of spirits. Through his name they are saved, according to the divine will for their lives. Wisdom will flow like water, and his glory will never fade. He is mighty in all the secrets of righteousness, and unrighteousness will vanish like a shadow without lasting power. The elect one stands eternally before the Lord of spirits. His glory is everlasting, and his strength endures through all generations. In him resides the spirit of wisdom, insight, understanding, and strength, as well as the spirit of those who have fallen asleep in righteousness. He will judge the hidden matters, and no lie will be spoken before him, for he is the elect one before the Lord of spirits, chosen by divine will. In those days, a transformation will occur for the holy and elect. The light of days will shine upon them, and glory and honor will be theirs. On the day when evil has been amassed against the sinners, the righteous will triumph in the name of the Lord of spirits, and others will witness this, leading them to repentance and renouncement of their sinful deeds. Although these others will not gain honor through the name of the Lord of spirits, they will be saved through his name. The Lord of spirits will show them great compassion, for his compassion knows no bounds. His judgment will be just, and in his glorious presence, unrighteousness will not endure. The unrepentant will perish before him. From this point forward, the Lord of spirits declares, he will show no mercy to them. In those days, the earth will return everything it has been given. Sheol will release all it has taken, and hell will pay back what it owes. For during that time, the elect one will rise up, and he will choose the righteous and holy from among them. The moment of their salvation is at hand. The elect one will then take his seat on the throne of the Lord of spirits, and his words will reveal all the deep secrets of wisdom and guidance. For the Lord of spirits has granted him these truths and has exalted him. In those days, even the mountains will dance with joy like rams, and the hills will leap like lambs basking in milk. The faces of all the heavenly angels will shine with uncontainable joy. The earth will burst into rejoicing, and the righteous will find their home upon it, while the chosen ones will walk freely upon its surface. After those days, in the place where the visions of hidden things had been seen, after being swept away in a whirlwind towards the west, there were revealed the secret treasures of heaven, a mountain of iron, a mountain of copper, a mountain of silver, a mountain of gold, a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. Enoch asked the angel accompanying him, "What are these things I have seen in secret?" The angel answered, "These things you have seen are destined to serve the reign of his anointed, so that he may wield great power and might upon the earth." The angel of peace then said, "Wait a moment, and you will be shown all the hidden things that surround the Lord of Spirits. The mountains seen, the iron mountain, the copper mountain, the silver mountain, the gold mountain, the soft metal mountain, and the lead mountain, will become as fragile as wax before a fire, and as malleable as water pouring down. They will lose all their strength in the presence of the elect one. It will come to pass in those days that no one will find a salvation through gold or silver, and none will escape. All are powerless. There will be no iron for battle, no armor to protect. Bronze will be useless, tin will be worthless, and lead will be rejected. All these things will vanish and be destroyed from the earth's surface when the elect one appears. Spirits, a deep gaping valley was seen, where all who live on earth, sea, and islands would bring gifts, tributes, and tokens of homage. Yet this valley would fill their hands, are stained with lawless deeds, and sinners consume and oppress everyone they wrongfully dominate. Yet they will face destruction before the Lord of Spirits, be banished from his earth, and perish forever. All the angels of punishment were seen there, preparing the tools of Satan. Enoch asked the angel of peace, who accompanied him, "For whom are these instruments being prepared?" The angel replied, "These are prepared for the kings and mighty ones of the earth, so they may be utterly destroyed. Afterward, the righteous and elect one will reveal the house of his congregation, and they will no longer be hindered in the name of the Lord of Spirits. The mountains will no longer stand firm before his righteousness, but the hills will flow like fountains of water, and the righteous will find rest from the torment of sinners." Enoch looked and turned to another part of the earth, where he saw a vast valley engulfed in burning fire. He witnessed the kings and mighty ones being dragged and cast into this deep, fiery abyss. Enoch's eyes beheld the preparation of immense iron chains, heavy beyond measure, being made for these individuals. Enoch asked the angel of peace accompanying him, "For whom are these chains being prepared?" The angel responded, "These chains are for the hosts of Azazel. They will be used to cast them into the abyss of total condemnation. Their jaws will be covered with rough stones, just as the Lord of Spirits has commanded. On that great day, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel will seize them and throw them into the burning furnace. This will be the Lord of Spirits' vengeance for their unrighteousness, for yielding to Satan and leading astray those who live on earth. In those days, the Lord of Spirits will send punishment. He will open all the water chambers above the heavens and the fountains below the earth. The waters above the heavens, representing the masculine, will merge with the waters below the earth, representing the feminine. Together, they will destroy all who dwell on the earth and those living at the ends of the heavens. When they recognize the evil they have done on earth, they will perish by these waters." Afterward, the head of days expressed regret, saying, I have destroyed all who dwell on the earth in vain. I swear by my great name, from now on, I will not do this again. I will set a sign in the heavens as a pledge of goodwill between me and them forever. As long as the heavens are above the earth, this is my command. When the time comes for me to grasp them by the hand of the angels during the day of tribulation and pain, my chastisement and wrath will be upon them, declares the Lord of spirits. Mighty kings of the earth, you will witness my elect one, sitting on the throne of glory, judging Azazel, his associates, and all his hosts in the name of spirits. Enoch saw the hosts of the angels of punishment, armed with scourges and chains of iron and bronze. He asked the angel of peace, "To whom are those carrying the scourges going?" The angel answered, "They are going to the elect and beloved ones, to cast them into the abyss of the valley. In this valley, the elect and beloved will be gathered. Their lives will come to an end, and their days of leading astray will be no more. In those days, the angels will return and move eastward toward the Parthians and Medes. They will incite unrest among the kings, rousing them from their thrones. These kings will burst forth like lions from their dens and wolves among their flocks, trampling over the land of the elect. But the city of the righteous will hinder their advance. They will fight amongst themselves, and their right hands will turn against one another. Men will no longer recognize their brothers or sons, their fathers and mothers, leading to a slaughter with countless corpses and punishment that will not be in vain. In those days, Sheol will open its jaws, swallowing them up, and their destruction will be complete. Sheol will consume the sinners in the presence of the elect. And it came to pass after this that Enoch saw another host of wagons with men riding on them, traveling on the winds from the east, the west, and the south. The noise of their wagons was thunderous. When this tumult occurred, the holy ones in heaven noticed it, causing the pillars of the earth to shift from their places. The sound echoed from one end of the heavens to the other. In a single day, all beings will fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. This marks the end of the second parable, and Enoch began to speak the third parable concerning the righteous and elect. Blessed are you, you righteous and elect, for glorious shall be your lot. The righteous will bask in the light of the sun, and the elect will dwell in the light of eternal life. Their days will be endless, and the days of the holy will be without count. They shall seek the light, and find righteousness with the Lord of spirits. Peace will be theirs in the name of the eternal Lord. And after this, it shall be said to the holy in heaven that they should seek out the secrets of righteousness, the heritage of faith, for it has become as bright as the sun upon earth, and darkness is past. There will be a light that never fades, and it will have no end. The darkness will be destroyed first, and the light of its brightness will be established forever. Spirits in those days, Enoch's eyes were opened to the secrets of the lightning, and the lights and the judgments they execute. They bring blessings or curses as the Lord of spirits wills. And Enoch saw the secrets of the thunder, and how, when it roars in the heavens, its sound is heard on earth. He witnessed the judgments executed, whether for well-being and blessing or for a curse, according to the word of the Lord of spirits. And after this, all the secrets of the lights and lightnings were revealed to Enoch. They illuminate for blessing and fulfillment. In the year 500, in the 7th month, on the The heavens trembled, and the hosts of the Most High, as well as the angels, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, were deeply disturbed. The head of days took his seat on the throne of his glory, surrounded by the angels and the righteous. A great trembling seized Enoch. Fear overwhelmed him, his body weakened, and he fell upon his face. Michael sent another angel from among the holy ones, who raised Enoch up. When Enoch was raised, his spirit returned, for he had been unable to endure the sight of the heavenly host and the commotion shaking the heavens. "Why are you so troubled by this vision?" Michael asked him. "Until today, the Lord has extended his mercy to those on earth, showing patience and long suffering. But a time is coming when the power, judgment, and punishment that the Lord of spirits has prepared will descend upon those who defy his law, those who reject justice, and those who speak his name in vain. That day is already prepared, a covenant for the chosen, but a dreadful inquisition for the wicked. On that day, his punishment will not be withheld, and the judgment will be so severe that mothers will perish with their children, fathers with offspring. Afterward, the judgment will be carried out with the Lord's justice and compassion." Michael continued, "Two great creatures were set apart on that day. Leviathan, the female, was cast into the depths of the oceans to dwell near the water springs. The male behemoth was placed in a desolate wilderness called Dui, east of the garden where the elect dwell. This is where Enoch's forefather, the seventh from Adam, the first man created by the Lord of spirits, was taken up. Curious, Enoch asked one of the angels to reveal the power of these beasts and to explain how they were separated on a single day, while one was thrown into the sea and the other into the dry wilderness. "You seek to know what is hidden," the angel responded. Another angel, guiding Enoch, began to unveil the mysteries of the cosmos, explaining the workings of the heavens, the depths of the earth, the extremities of the firmament, and the foundation of the world. He showed Enoch the chambers of the winds and how they are divided and measured, each portal corresponding to its own power. The angel explained the movement of the moon, the divisions of the stars by name, and how everything in creation has its designated order. The angel spoke of the thunder, revealing the secret places where it rests, waiting for its roar. Thunder and lightning, though not one, are bound together. They move through the power of the Spirit and never part. When the lightning flashes, thunder soon follows, and the Spirit controls the pores between them. "The storehouse of thunder," he said, "is as vast as the sands, and each peal is restrained and released by the Spirit to move across the earth." The angel went on to describe the powerful spirit of the sea, which pulls the waters back and forth across the mountains with unyielding strength. He also spoke of the spirits of frost, hail, snow, and mist, each governed by its own angel. "The snow," he said, "rises like smoke and contains a spirit of its own. Frost, the mist, unlike the others, dwells in its own chamber, glorious in both light and darkness, with an angel overseeing its course through the seasons. The dew, too, has its place at the edges of the heavens, connected to the chambers of rain. As the rain is released from its chamber, angels lead it forth, uniting it with the waters of the earth. Rain is a gift to nourish the earth, decreed by the Most High, and angels oversee its measure. As Enoch beheld these wonders, the angel of peace who accompanied him said, These two great monsters, Leviathan and Behemoth, were prepared in accordance with God's greatness. In those days, Enoch saw angels being given long cords with which they took to the skies and flew northward. He asked the angel with him, "Why have they taken these cords and left?" "They have gone to measure the righteousness of the chosen," the angel answered, "strengthening their faith so they may forever hold fast to the name of the spirits." The angel continued, "The righteous will dwell together, and these measures will reveal all mysteries. What lies beneath the earth, those lost in the desert, those devoured by beasts or by the fish of the sea, they will return, upheld by the elect one, for none will be destroyed before the Lord of spirits." All of heaven received a command, and with one voice they praised the Holy One. Their words were wise, filled with life, and they blessed the Lord of spirits with fire-like brilliance. The elect one was placed on a throne of glory to judge all the deeds of the holy in heaven, weighing their actions on a divine balance. As he lifted his face to judge the hidden paths and secret ways of the righteous, all of heaven cried out in unison, blessing and glorifying the name of the Lord of spirits. On that day, the entire host of heaven, from cherubim to seraphim, and the mighty angels of power, will raise their voices in one song of praise. They will exalt the Lord of spirits with faith, wisdom, patience, mercy, justice, and peace. Blessed is he, they will declare, and may the name of the Lord of spirits be praised forever. All the heavenly beings who never sleep will bless him, as will the holy ones in the garden of life, every spirit of light, and all flesh upon the earth. They will glorify and magnify his name beyond measure, for the mercy of the Lord of spirits is vast, and his patience endures. All his works and everything he has created will be revealed to the righteous and the elect in his name. The Lord issued a command to the kings, the powerful and the exalted ones of the earth, saying, "Open your eyes and lift up your strength. If you are able to recognize the elect one, the Lord of spirits." Then the Lord of spirits placed the elect one upon his glorious throne, and righteousness poured forth from him. His mere words would strike down sinners, and all the unrighteous would be obliterated from his presence. On that day, the kings, the mighty, and all who rule the earth would stand in awe. They would gaze upon him sitting on his throne, where righteousness is judged, and no falsehood can be spoken before him. Suddenly, they would feel pain as intense as a woman in labor, suffering as she brings forth her child into the world. They would glance at one another, terror etched upon their faces, their hearts heavy with dread. Despair would seize them when they see the Son of Man seated on the throne of glory. The kings, the mighty, and all who possess the earth will finally acknowledge him who was hidden from their sight but ruled over all. They will bless, glorify, and praise the one who was concealed, preserved by the Most High from the beginning, and revealed only to the elect. In that moment, the chosen and the holy will gather before him, standing firm. The kings and the mighty, once exalted in their own eyes, will fall face down in worship. They will plead for mercy from the Son of Man, placing their hope in him. Yet the Lord of spirits will press them so harshly that they will flee from his presence, their faces full of shame, darkness deepening upon them. He will hand them over to the angels of punishment to exact vengeance for their oppression of his chosen ones. Their downfall will be witnessed by the righteous and elect, who will rejoice. For the wrath of the Lord of spirits will rest upon the oppressors. His sword will be drenched in their blood. On that day, the righteous and elect will be saved, never again to witness the faces of sinners and the unjust. The Lord of spirits will dwell among them, and they will share meals with the Son of Man, rising and lying down in peace forever and ever. The righteous and the elect will rise from the earth, no longer burdened with sorrow. They will be clothed in garments of glory, garments of life bestowed by the Lord of spirits, which will never age nor fade. Their glory will endure eternally before the Lord of spirits. In those days, the mighty and the kings who once ruled the earth will beg for mercy, delivered into the hands of the angels of punishment. They will cry out for just a little respite. They will long to fall down and worship the Lord of spirits, to confess their sins before him. They will praise and glorify him, saying, "Blessed is the Lord of spirits, the Lord of kings, the Lord of the mighty, the Lord of the glorious King, the source of all understanding, whose might is both evident and concealed, stretching across countless ages. His splendor endures eternally, his justice boundless." They will then lament, wishing they had devoted themselves to honoring and thanking him, confessing their faith in his magnificence. But now they find no respite, pursuing fleeting hopes and grasping at emptiness. Light has departed from them, and they are left to an endless gloom, filled with profound regret. They will acknowledge their failure to believe in him or exalt his name, having instead placed their trust in worldly power and earthly glory. Now in their suffering, he offers no salvation, and their pleas for peace or acknowledgement of their faith go unanswered, despite his judgments being true and equitable, showing no favoritism. They will finally comprehend the emptiness of their existence, admitting they lived pursuing ill-gotten gains. Yet even that could not shield them from being engulfed by the weight of shame. Darkness will shroud their countenances as they are banished from the presence of the Son of Man. His divine authority will stand as an unyielding barrier before them, forever repelling them. Thus the sovereign of spirits pronounces his verdict upon the powerful, the rulers, the exalted, and all who held dominion over the earth. Their destiny is irrevocably determined by the sovereign of spirits. In that realm, Enoch witnessed other unseen entities. He heard an angelic voice declare, "These are the celestial beings who descended to the terrestrial sphere and divulged forbidden knowledge to humanity, guiding them toward sin." In those times, Methuselah chose a spouse for his son Lamech. She conceived and gave birth to a male child. This infant was extraordinary. His skin possessed a snow-white hue with a crimson blush, reminiscent of a blossoming rose. His hair, long and white as fine wool, cascaded in gentle waves, and his eyes shone with a captivating brilliance. The moment the infant opened his eyes, a luminous radiance filled the entire dwelling, akin to the sun's glow. At that instant, cradled by the midwife, the child, as if guided by an unseen force, opened his mouth and uttered words of praise to the Lord of righteousness. Lamech, the child's father, was overcome with profound terror. In his fear, he fled his home and hastened to his father, Methuselah. He exclaimed, "I have fathered a son of peculiar nature, unlike any mortal. He bears a resemblance to the heavenly divine beings, and his essence differs from ours. His eyes gleam like solar rays, and his countenance is suffused with glory. It appears to me he is not of my lineage, but of the celestial hosts. I fear that during his lifetime, extraordinary events will unfold upon the earth. Lamech, trembling, implored his father, I beg you now, go to our forefather Enoch, and seek the truth from him, for he resides among the angels, and will undoubtedly discern the meaning of this. Upon hearing this, Methuselah embarked on a journey to find Enoch, traveling to the remotest parts of the earth where he had heard Enoch dwelt. He called out with a resounding voice, and Enoch, hearing him, came to meet him. Behold, I am here, my son, Enoch said. Why have you sought me? Methuselah replied, I have come to you with great disquietude. A vision has disturbed me, and I am deeply troubled. My son Lamech has a child, but this offspring is unlike any other. His skin is whiter than snow and redder than a rose in bloom. His hair is whiter than wool, and his eyes radiate the brilliance of the sun. When he opened his eyes, he illuminated the entire dwelling. He rose in the midwife's arms and offered praise to the Lord of heaven. Lamech, in his apprehension, fled to me, doubting the child is his own, and believing him to be akin to the heavenly angels. I have come to you to ascertain the truth of this. Enoch listened and then spoke with gravity. The Lord is about to enact a new undertaking upon the earth. This I have witnessed in a vision. In the era of my father Jared, certain celestial beings transgressed the Lord's command. They sinned and violated the law by taking human women as consorts, and from them they bore offspring, committing grave iniquity. Soon, a great cataclysm will engulf the earth, a deluge that will persist for an entire year, purifying the land of its corruption. However, this child born to you shall be preserved, he and his 3 offspring, who will survive when all other humans perish. Giants will tread the earth, born not of spirit but of flesh, and they will inflict immense suffering upon the world. Yet through it all, the earth shall be cleansed of its impurity. Enoch continued, Now go and inform your son Lamech that this child is indeed his own, begotten of his flesh. You shall name him Noah, for he will be a solace to you, and he and his sons will be delivered from the impending destruction that will befall the earth due to all the sin and wickedness that will reach its zenith in his time. Enoch's voice grew somber as he warned, Yet even after the flood, the earth will once again descend into greater depravity than before. I know this, for I have perceived the hidden truths of the holy ones, revealed to me by the Lord. He has shown me, and I have perused them in the celestial tabernacles. The transgressions will persist from one generation to the next, until finally a generation of righteousness emerges. When that day arrives, all sin shall be eradicated, and goodness will permeate the earth. Enoch then turned to Methuselah. Go now, my son, and inform Lamech that this child is his, and that my words are true. Upon hearing his father's pronouncements, Methuselah returned to Lamech, recounting all that Enoch had disclosed. Lamech named his son Noah, for it was foretold that Noah would bring comfort to the earth following the great devastation. In those days, Noah observed the earth, and his heart was heavy with sorrow. The very ground beneath him seemed to have subsided, and he sensed that destruction was nigh, an inevitable fate. With a voice steeped in profound dread, he cried out not once but thrice, Hear me, hear me, hear me! His plea reverberated across the desolate landscapes as he sought the wisdom of his grandfather Enoch. His spirit weighed down by an ominous foreboding. From the silence, Enoch responded, What has caused such anguish upon the earth that it trembles with such intensity? Speak to me, Noah, for I fear this turmoil may even consume me." But as Noah began to reply, the earth quaked beneath him. A massive upheaval rent the land, and a mighty resonant voice thundered from the heavens. Overwhelmed by reverence and fear, Noah collapsed, his face pressed against the earth. At that moment, Enoch appeared, standing tall and radiant beside him. With gentle admonishment, he inquired, "Why, my child, have you called out to me with such profound despair and tears?" His voice grew solemn as he continued, "A decree has been issued from the very presence of the Lord. Those who inhabit the earth are marked for annihilation, for they have uncovered forbidden knowledge. They have learned the secret doctrines of the angels, the violent practices of the Satans, and have harnessed powers never intended for humankind. They have mastered sorcery and witchcraft, and have fashioned idols that curse the earth." He spoke of the sacred mysteries they had pilfered. They have extracted silver from the earth's dust, discovered the origins of precious metals, and yet lead and tin, unlike others, emerge from a subterranean spring deep within the earth. This spring is guarded by an angel, a being of immense power and authority. Then Enoch took Noah by the hand, lifting him from the ground. "Go now, my son, for I have implored the Lord of spirits concerning this chaos that agitates the earth." His response was unequivocal. "Their judgment is decreed and shall not be deferred. Because of the sorceries they have unearthed and the darkness they have embraced, the earth and all who dwell upon it will be annihilated in destruction." With a grave tone, Enoch revealed the fate of those who had transgressed. "These sinners hold no hope for repentance. They are damned for eternity, for they have unveiled what was meant to remain concealed. But fear not, Noah, for the Lord of spirits knows you are pure, untainted by this corruption. You are guiltless in his sight." Enoch's voice softened, imbued with both sorrow and hope. "The Lord has chosen your name to reside among the hallowed. He will preserve you even as the earth succumbs to ruin, and from your lineage a legacy shall arise, a royal and righteous seed destined for great honor. A spring of righteousness shall flow from your descendants beyond measure and for all time." Then Enoch showed Noah the angels of retribution, fierce and prepared to unleash the powers of the deep waters that lay beneath the earth. They stood poised to bring judgment and destruction upon all who walk the land. But the Lord of spirits restrained them, commanding the waters to remain in check, for the appointed time had not yet arrived. And so Noah departed from his grandfather's presence, his spirit burdened by the foreknowledge of what was to transpire. In the days that followed, the word of God came to Noah. It was a voice akin to thunder, yet tender with affection. "Noah, your destiny has been brought before me. Blameless and pure, you are a man of love and righteousness. Even now the angels are constructing a vast wooden edifice. When their labor is complete, I will lay my hand upon it and bestow my blessing. From this vessel, the seed of life will emerge, and the earth shall be renewed." God's promise was steadfast. Your descendants shall be established forever. They will spread across the earth, not in desolation, but in abundance. They shall be fruitful and multiply, and my blessing shall rest upon them from generation to generation. Then God spoke of the fallen angels. "Those who have brought unrighteousness upon the earth shall be cast into the burning valley, the very valley your grandfather Enoch once revealed to you. It lies in the west, amidst the mountains, rich with gold, silver, iron, and the precious metals of tin and lead. There a great conflagration will occur, the very waters convulsing with fire. Molten metal will erupt forth, and from it will rise a stench of sulfur, mingling with the burning waters of the valley where the fallen angels are condemned. Noah perceived the vision with clarity, a valley of fire and flowing streams of molten metal, where those who had led humanity astray would face eternal retribution. But the waters that flowed through the valley would also serve a peculiar dual purpose for the kings and the mighty, those who still walk the earth. They would offer purification, a cleansing from the stains of their iniquities. In pride, the waters of earth would bestow healing upon their bodies. Yet even as their flesh found solace, their spirits would be tormented for having disavowed the Lord of spirits. Each passing day, they would witness their retribution, yet refuse to acknowledge his name. As flames consumed their earthly forms, the anguish of their spirits would intensify, forever altered in proportion to their suffering. Before the Lord of spirits, no utterance would go unexamined. Their destiny was fixed, for they had pursued the urges of their flesh and rejected the Spirit of the Lord. In that time, the very waters would undergo a metamorphosis. When the fallen celestial beings faced punishment in fiery currents, the waters would turn frigid. The springs of healing would become bitter, and those who once sought comfort in their warmth would find only an icy embrace. Noah heard the archangel Michael proclaim this divine decree upon the angels, a testament for the kings and potentates of earth. They had sought these waters for corporeal restoration, but they would neither perceive nor believe that these very waters would one day burn with an inferno unquenchable, a fire that would utterly consume them for all time. In the wake of this judgment, my esteemed ancestor Enoch, with profound solemnity, imparted to me the hallowed teachings inscribed within the book of parables. He meticulously compiled these ancient secrets, revealing them to me with reverent care, as if bestowing a treasure of divine knowledge beyond measure. On that fateful day, Michael, the archangel of might and justice, turned to Raphael, speaking with a voice imbued with dread and awe. The burden of the Spirit, the severity of the judgment upon these veiled truths is almost unbearable, he declared. Who among us can withstand such a profound and relentless judgment, a judgment so all-consuming that it causes even the steadfast to dissolve? With troubled resolve, Michael addressed Raphael once more. Who among the celestial hosts can remain unmoved by the anguish of this pronouncement? How can any heart remain unshaken by the harshness of the judgment that has been rendered upon those who have led the earth astray? When Michael stood before the Lord of spirits, he declared with unwavering conviction, I will not intercede for them before the Lord, for the anger of the Lord of spirits burns fiercely against them. They have usurped the Lord's place, seizing his authority. Therefore, all that was concealed, all that was withheld from them, shall now be laid bare, and their fate is sealed for eternity. Neither angel nor mortal shall share in this judgment. They alone shall bear the weight of their eternal damnation. In the aftermath of this divine judgment, terror shall seize the hearts of the angels, who will tremble at the spectacle of the revelations they have shared with humankind. They shall become harbingers of dread, their own names whispered with fear among the inhabitants of earth. Behold, the appellations of these angels, each a harbinger of dark secrets and ruin. The first, Samyaza. The second, Arachiel. The third, Armen. The fourth, Kababil. The fifth, Tumiel. The sixth, Ramiel. The seventh, Danel. The eighth, Kokabel. The ninth, Barakil. The 10th, Azazel. The 11th, Armeros. The 12th, Badarel. The 13th, Busail. The 14th, Hananel. The 15th, Terel. The 16th, Semyaza. The 17th, Jetrel. The 18th, Tumiel. The 19th, Terel. And the 20th, Rumel. And Azazel once more as the chief among them. These are the leaders of the angels, commanding over hundreds, fifties, and tens. Their names are etched in infamy. The first among them was Shemyaza, he who led astray all the sons of God, drawing them down to earth and guiding them into the embrace of mortal temptation through the daughters of men. The second, Arachiel, imparted wicked counsel to these divine beings, leading them into impurity by defiling themselves with human flesh. The third, Armaros, revealed to humankind the grievous instruments of death, the blows and tools of demise, from shields to swords. He led Eve astray and showed mankind the implements of warfare and devastation, thus perpetuating suffering upon the earth. The fourth, Paimon, imparted the knowledge of bitter and sweet, unveiling the secrets of wisdom that led humanity into sin through the invention of writing, an art that has caused untold transgressions from ages past until the present day. For mortals were never meant to validate their actions with ink and parchment. They were created pure and righteous, unmarred by the destructive knowledge that now consumes them. The fifth angel, Kokabel, unveiled to humankind the malevolent strikes of spirits and demons, including the fatal smiting of the unborn in the womb, the serpent's bites, and the harms caused by scorching heat. His revelations brought about the torment of spirits and bodies alike. The sixth angel, Batariel, revealed the sacred oath he had made with the holy ones, an oath whose power was both formidable and binding. This oath had been entrusted to Michael, holding within it the strength to command and enforce divine order. The secrets of this oath are mighty. It was through this oath that the heavens were established before the world was made, and the earth was founded upon the waters. Beautiful springs emerged from the secret recesses of the mountains, and the seas were set with boundaries that they dared not transgress. The depths were secured, the sun and moon kept their course, and the stars completed their cycles, all by the power of this oath. The spirits of water, winds, and all elements were bound by it, and their paths were preserved from corruption. The voice of thunder, the light of lightning, the chambers of hail and frost, and all elements of weather give thanks and glorify the Lord of spirits eternally, for they are preserved by this oath. Great joy fills their hearts as they bless and extol the name of the Son of Man, who has been revealed and now sits upon the throne of glory. The judgment is given to him, and he will purge the earth of sinners, binding them with chains and casting them into their place of destruction. All their deeds shall vanish from the earth. From this moment forward, corruption shall have no place. The Son of Man, having taken his throne, will banish all evil before his presence. His word shall be strong and potent before the Lord of spirits. And it came to pass that during his earthly life, Enoch's name was exalted and raised to the attention of the Son of Man and the Lord of spirits, surpassing all those who dwelt upon the earth. In a grand celestial ascent, he was lifted upon the chariots of the Spirit, and as his name ascended, it gradually faded from among them. From that moment, Enoch was no longer counted among the mortal realm. Instead, he was placed between the two great winds, between the north and the west. There, the angels meticulously measured the domain allotted for the elect and the righteous. In that sacred space, he beheld the ancient patriarchs and the righteous, those who from the dawn of creation had resided in that exalted realm. It was after this momentous event that Enoch's spirit was transported to the heavens, ascending to the divine realms. There, he beheld the holy sons of God stepping upon fiery paths, their garments gleaming white, and their faces radiating with the brilliance of freshly fallen snow. He saw two streams of fire, their light akin to the hue of hyacinth, and overwhelmed by the vision, he fell prostrate before the Lord of Spirits. The Archangel Michael, one of the exalted archangels, took him by his right hand, lifting him gently and guiding him through the divine mysteries. Michael revealed to him the hidden secrets of righteousness and the ultimate truths of the cosmos. He was shown the secrets of the farthest reaches of heaven, the chambers of the stars, and the pathways of the luminaries, all proceeding in divine order before the holy ones. Enoch's spirit was then translated into the heaven of heavens, where he beheld a magnificent structure composed of crystal clear substances. Within this celestial edifice, tongues of living fire danced between the crystalline walls. He saw the girdle encircling this fiery house, adorned with streams of living fire flowing from all four sides. Seraphim, cherubim, and ophanim, celestial beings who neither slumber nor rest, stood in vigilant guard around the throne of divine glory. Enoch beheld an innumerable host of angels, thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling the divine house. Among them were Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Phanuel, and other holy angels of the highest order, all moving in and out of that sacred place. From that celestial abode emerged Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Phanuel, and countless holy angels. Accompanying them was the head of days, his head radiant and pure as wool, his attire beyond description. Overwhelmed, Enoch fell on his face. His entire body slackened, and his spirit was transformed. In this state of divine ecstasy, he cried out with a mighty voice, imbued with the spirit of power, and he blessed, glorified, and extolled the Lord of Spirits. The blessings that flowed from Enoch's lips were received with great favor by the head of days. The head of days, accompanied by Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Phanuel, and an uncountable multitude of angels, approached him. In a voice filled with reverence, an angel spoke to him, "Behold, the Son of Man, born unto righteousness. Righteousness envelops him, and the righteousness of the head of days shall never depart from him." The angel continued, "He brings to you a message of peace, a peace that has emanated from the creation of the world and shall endure forever. Walk in his ways, for righteousness shall never abandon him. In his presence you shall find your dwelling and your heritage, and you shall be eternally united with him. Thus shall the Son of Man enjoy length of days, and the righteous shall walk in peace and integrity in the name of the Lord of Spirits forever and ever." Enoch continued to unveil the divine knowledge imparted to him, revealing the profound secrets of the celestial bodies and their movements. Under the guidance of Uriel, the holy angel, Enoch was shown the intricate mechanisms of the heavens. Uriel disclosed to Enoch the precise laws governing the celestial bodies, illustrating how each luminary follows its designated path according to their orders, dominions, and seasons. These laws are set to remain in place until the dawn of the new creation, which will last for eternity. Uriel began. The first law of the luminaries is that the sun rises from the eastern portals of heaven and sets in the western portals. There are 6 portals through which the sun ascends, and 6 through which it descends. The moon follows similar paths, rising and setting within these portals, as do the leaders of the stars and their charges. 6 in the east and 6 in the west, all in precise harmonious order. Additionally, there are many windows flanking these portals on both the right and left. The great luminary, the sun, emerges first. Its circumference mirrors the expanse of the heavens, and it is ablaze with radiant and warming fire. Driven by the wind, its chariot ascends, and as the sun sets, it returns through the northern realms to reach the eastern portals, proceeding to its designated entrance and illuminating the heavens. In the first month, the sun rises through the 4th of the 6 eastern portals, which contains 12 window openings. Each window emits a flame when opened at the appropriate season. For 30 mornings, the sun rises through this 4th portal and sets through the 4th portal in the west, gradually extending the daylight and shortening the night. On the 30th morning, the day surpasses the night by 1/9, with the day comprising 10 parts and the night 8. The sun then transitions to the 5th portal, rising and setting through it for 30 mornings. As it moves, the day lengthens by 2 parts, totaling 11, while the night shortens to 7 parts. Next, the sun advances to the 6th portal, where it rises and sets for 31 mornings. On this day, the daylight doubles the night, with the day measuring 12 parts and the night 6. Afterward, the sun ascends to reduce the length of the day and increase the night. It returns to the 6th portal in the east and completes 30 mornings before diminishing the day by 1 part, making the day 11 parts long and the night 7. Subsequently, the sun departs the 6th portal in the west, traveling to the 5th portal in the east for 30 mornings. It rises and sets through this portal, decreasing the day length by 2 parts to 10 and increasing the night to 8. The sun continues this pattern, transitioning to the 4th portal for 31 mornings. Here, the day and night become equal, each consisting of 9 parts. The sun then proceeds to the 3rd portal, where it rises and sets for 30 mornings. The night grows longer than the day until the 30th morning, with the night spanning 10 parts and the day 8. Moving to the 2nd portal for 30 mornings, the night lengthens to 11 parts, while the day shortens to 7. Finally, the sun enters the 1st portal for 31 mornings, where the night reaches its longest duration, being double the day. On this day, the night comprises 12 parts and the day 6. The sun completes its orbit, returning to traverse its divisions and setting in the west opposite the portal from which it rose. As a result, the night decreases by 1/9, and the night becomes 11 parts with the day at 7. The sun then re-enters the 2nd portal in the east, following its established path for 30 mornings, rising and setting as before. This causes the night to shorten to 10 parts, while the day extends to 8. Subsequently, the sun rises from this portal and sets in the west, eventually returning to the 3rd portal for 31 mornings. where the day and night are equal at 9 parts each. Thus the cycle completes with a year totaling 364 days. Uriel also showed Enoch the laws governing the moon, the smaller luminary. The moon's circumference, akin to the expanse of heaven, is driven by the wind, and its light is granted in precise measure. The moon rises with a 14th part of its light, Uriel explained, and it continues to grow until the 15th day, when it is fully illuminated. After reaching its fullness, it begins to wane, reducing its light in a precise sequence. This pattern repeats consistently, with the moon completing its cycle in alignment with the sun. In this way, the movements of the moon ensure that the years are accurately measured, maintaining the balance and order of time. Uriel showed Enoch the movements and positions of all the celestial bodies, including the sun, moon, and stars. Each of them follows a fixed path, obeying the commands set by the Lord of Glory, who established them to rule over the heavens and the earth. The angel Uriel then explained the 12 portals located around the sun's chariot. From these portals, rays of sunlight emerge, providing warmth to the earth. He also revealed the portals from which the winds flow, explaining how these forces control the daily and seasonal cycles. There are 12 portals in total, which are used by the sun, moon, and stars to maintain the natural order of the cosmos. Uriel showed how the balance between light and darkness, warmth and cold, prosperity and desolation is sustained by the Creator's design. Finally, Uriel demonstrated the workings of the winds that come from 12 portals around the edges of the earth. These winds bring different outcomes, ranging from blessings and abundance to destruction and desolation. The east wind carries drought and heat, while another from the east brings rain and fertility. The north winds deliver cold and snow, while the winds from the west bring mixed conditions. The laws of the heavens were unveiled before my eyes, Enoch declared, his voice filled with awe. I saw how every star, every planet, and every force of nature moves with perfect precision, following the path assigned to them, maintaining the delicate harmony and balance of all creation. In those days Uriel spoke unto Enoch, saying, Behold, I have revealed all to you, O Son of Man. I have unveiled the hidden mysteries of the sun and the moon, the sacred leaders of the stars of the heavens, and all those celestial beings who govern their movement, their duties, and the appointed times of their rising and setting. And as he spoke, a shadow seemed to loom over the days of the future, and he declared, In the days when the hearts of men have turned cold, the years shall be shortened, and the earth itself will grieve. The fields and lands that once teemed with life will falter, and the seeds sown will delay their growth. All things that dwell upon the face of the earth shall be altered. Their times will be no more as they once were. The rain, which once fell as a gift from the heavens, shall be withheld, and the skies shall close themselves in silence. As the angel's voice echoed through the winds of prophecy, the sorrow of the earth became clearer. In those days, he continued, the fruits of the earth shall wither, arriving late in their season if they come at all. All the trees, once heavy with life, will hold back their fruits, and the cycles of abundance shall be broken. Even the moon, faithful in her course, shall forsake her path, and not appear at her appointed time. He lifted his gaze towards the heavens and continued, And in those fateful days the sun itself shall be seen, but not as you have known it. It shall journey toward the edge of the great western chariot, and shine more fiercely than ever before, breaking the sacred order of light. He spoke with a voice filled with lament. The chiefs of many stars shall forsake their appointed paths, and they shall wander, disobedient to the order that was entrusted to them. Their duties and their seasons will be forsaken, and they will fail to appear at the appointed time set by the Creator. The sacred order of the heavens, hidden from the eyes of the sinful, shall become a mystery lost to them, and the minds of men shall stumble in their understanding. They will look to the stars with confusion, erring in their thoughts, and worse still, they will be led astray and worship the stars as gods. The angel's tone grew darker as he foretold the outcome of such folly. Evil will multiply upon the earth, spreading like a plague upon humankind. And with the coming of this evil shall follow a swift and terrible punishment, one so mighty that it shall destroy all who persist in their wickedness. Thus Uriel concluded his dire warnings, and the silence that followed was heavy with foreboding. In another moment of divine revelation, Uriel then called up Enoch and said unto him, Behold, gaze upon the heavenly tablets, read what is inscribed upon them, and take heed of every single detail, for the wisdom contained within is for your understanding. Enoch, with reverence, observed the heavenly tablets and read the inscriptions written by the hand of the Almighty. In them were contained all the deeds of mankind from the beginning of the earth until the remotest generations yet to come. As he read and comprehended the vastness of human history, Enoch's heart was moved, and he blessed the great Lord, the eternal King of glory, for all his wondrous works. His lips spoke praises for the Lord's unending patience, and he blessed him for his mercy upon the children of men. And Enoch, filled with wisdom, declared, Blessed is the man who dies in righteousness and goodness, for there is no record of wrongdoing against him in his name. No day of judgment shall ever be found. When these revelations had been made known to Enoch, the 7 holy ones who had been his guides brought him back to his earthly abode. They stood before the door of his house and spoke, saying, Enoch, you must now declare these truths to your son Methuselah and to all your children. Show them that no flesh is righteous before the eyes of the Lord, for he is the creator of all. He is the source of all life, and to him alone is judgment reserved. The angelic voices continued, You have been granted but 1 more year to dwell among your kin, so that you may give your final commands and teach your children. Write down all that you have seen and testify to the generations that will come after you. And in the 2nd year, we shall return and take you from the midst of men. Uriel's words were filled with both warning and hope. Be strong in heart, for the righteous will proclaim righteousness to the righteous. Those who walk in the path of goodness shall rejoice together and offer their blessings to one another. But the sinners shall perish with the sinners, and the apostates will fall into the abyss with those who have abandoned the truth. The righteous, however, though they may suffer because of the deeds of men, shall be taken away to escape the treacherous ways of the godless. When the angels had finished speaking, their voices fell silent, and Enoch returned to his people, his heart full of praise for the Lord of all creation. And in the days that followed, Enoch spoke to his son Methuselah, recounting all the knowledge he had been given, and he wrote down every detail for him. He urged Methuselah to preserve the books and to pass them down through the generations, so that this wisdom, which surpassed the understanding of men, might be known throughout all ages. Enoch spoke solemnly, I have given you wisdom, my son, and to your children. Ensure that they pass this knowledge on to their descendants, for this wisdom is beyond human thought. Those who understand it will remain vigilant, never sleeping, but listening and learning with eager hearts. To them, this wisdom shall be more satisfying than the finest of foods. He blessed all the righteous, saying, Blessed are those who walk in the way of righteousness and do not sin like sinners, in the reckoning of all their days. The sun moved steadily through the heavens, entering and exiting the portals of the sky for 30 days at a time, always accompanied by the leaders of the stars. But there were 4 extra days interspersed throughout the year, marking the divisions between the seasons. And it was these days that would cause confusion among men. They would fail to account for them correctly, miscalculating the passage of time. These days were sacred, meant to complete the year's cycle, but mankind would struggle to recognize them. The sun's journey completed the year in 364 days, a number that was precise and recorded for all eternity. Uriel, the holy angel who had been given dominion over the hosts of heaven, had shown this to Enoch, revealing the mysteries of the luminaries, the months, the festivals, the years, and the days. Uriel, with his divine authority, held sway over night and day, over the shining of the sun and moon, and the stars that spun endlessly in their heavenly chariots. There was an order to the stars, each one placed in its season, aligned with the festivals in the passing months. The leaders of the stars, those who guided their course, were appointed by name. 4 powerful beings governed the 4 divisions of the year: Mikael, Helk, Melal, and Nachel. Beneath them, 12 other leaders directed the stars through each month, with countless others ensuring the days and seasons progressed with perfect order. At the start of the year, the leader Melal, also known as Tamiel, rose first. He governed the sun's rule for 91 days, and during his reign, the earth was marked by warmth, calm skies, and bountiful life. The trees burst into life, bearing fruit, their leaves unfurling, and the fields blossomed. Wheat ripened for harvest, roses bloomed, and the earth was full of beauty, though the trees of winter stood barren. Under Malal's guidance were 3 leaders, Berel, Zelbel, and Hailuf, who ruled alongside him. But as his dominion ended, another rose, Helk, also called the Shining Sun. His reign too spanned 91 days, but the earth felt the burn of intense heat and dryness. The fruits ripened, heavy and sweet, ready for harvest. The sheep mated and carried their young, and the fields were gathered, their bounty collected in preparation for the wine press. During this time, the leaders who served under Helk were Gal, Jal, Heel, and Asael, each guiding their own order until, once again, their rule came to its inevitable end, and the cycle continued unbroken, as it had been ordained by the Creator himself. And now, Methuselah, my son, Enoch said, listen closely, for I will share with you all the visions that have been revealed to me. These visions given by the Almighty have been heavy upon my spirit, and I will recount them to you in their entirety. There were 2 great visions before I took a wife, each one different from the other. The first came when I was still learning the ways of writing, a time when my mind was young and eager. The second, far more terrible, came before I married your mother. It was then that I was shown a dreadful sight, one that chilled me to the core, and in my distress I turned my heart to the Lord in prayer. In that moment, I had laid myself down in the house of my grandfather, Mahalalil. As I slept, the vision overtook me, and I saw the heavens collapse. The very firmament above us was torn away and fell, plunging to the earth with an overwhelming force. And when it struck the earth, I watched in horror as the ground opened into a vast abyss. The mountains, once steadfast and towering, were hurled upon each other, one upon the other, while the hills sank into the depths. Even the great trees, rooted in the earth since ancient times, were ripped from their foundations, cast into the abyss below as if they were nothing. And then, from the depths of my soul, a word arose, and my mouth was filled with a cry. I lifted my voice and shouted, "The earth is destroyed!" At that moment, my grandfather, Mahalalel, awakened me from my slumber. Hearing my cries, he spoke to me with great concern. "Why do you wail so, my son? What has caused this lamentation within you?" I told him of the vision that had been shown to me, every dreadful detail of it. His face grew grave as he listened, and he said, "What you have seen is terrible indeed, my son. Your dream vision reveals the hidden secrets of the world's sin, and the weight of this sin will drag the earth into the abyss. It shall be destroyed with a mighty destruction." He looked at me with urgency and said, "Now rise, my son, and petition the Lord of glory, for you are faithful in his sight. Pray that he might leave a remnant upon the earth, that he does not utterly wipe out all of creation." My heart trembled at his words, and he continued, "For from the heavens this destruction will come, and the earth will be consumed by it." After that, I arose and prayed with all my strength. I implored and beseeched the Lord to have mercy, and I wrote down my prayer for the generations to come. I promised that I would show everything to you, Methuselah, so that you might understand the gravity of what is to come. And after my prayer, I went outside and looked upon the heavens. I saw the sun rising in the east, casting its light over the world as it had since the beginning of time. The moon was setting in the west, and a few stars still lingered in the sky. The earth, despite what I had seen, still moved in the rhythm set by the Creator from the dawn of time. And I blessed the Lord, the God of judgment, praising him for his works. For he had made the sun to rise each day, to travel across the sky, following the path that he alone had ordained. Then with hands lifted high, I praised the Holy and Great One, with the breath given to me by the Lord, and the tongue of flesh created for the children of men. I spoke in his name. Blessed art thou, O Lord, King of kings. Great and mighty is thy power, and everlasting is thy greatness. Thou art the Lord of all creation. The heavens are thy throne, and the earth is thy footstool forevermore. All dominion and power belong to thee, for throughout all generations thy reign endures. I continued in my praise. Thou hast created all things, O Lord, and nothing is too difficult for thee. From thy throne wisdom flows unceasing, and from thy presence nothing departs. Thou knowest and seest all, for nothing is hidden from thy sight. But as I prayed, my heart grew heavy with sorrow, for I knew that even the angels, the very hosts of heaven, had trespassed against the Lord, and upon the flesh of men God's wrath would remain until the day of great judgment. I cried out, "O God, O great King, I implore thee, hear my prayer. Leave me a posterity on this earth. Do not destroy all flesh. Do not let the world be left barren and without inhabitant, succumbing to eternal destruction." With a trembling voice, I pleaded, Let thy wrath fall upon the wicked, but let the righteous be as a seed planted in eternity. Hide not thy face from me, O Lord. Hear the prayer of thy servant. After this, another vision came upon me, and I must tell you, my son, all that I saw. Enoch lifted his voice and spoke to Methuselah. Listen carefully, my son, to the dream vision of your father. Before I took your mother Edna as my wife, I saw a vision while lying on my bed. In this vision, I beheld a great bull emerging from the earth, its coat as white as snow. Following it came a heifer, and with her, 2 more bulls appeared, one black and the other red. Then the black bull gored the red one and chased him across the earth, and I could see the red bull no more. The black bull grew larger, and the heifer followed him, and from them many oxen were born, each resembling the black bull. I saw that the first cow left the presence of the white bull to search for the red one, but she could not find him. Her grief was great, and she wept bitterly for him, her sorrow filling the earth. But in time, the white bull returned to her, comforting her, and she wept no more. Afterward, she bore another white bull, and from this bull came many more black cows. Among them, I watched in my sleep as the white bull grew and became a mighty creature, larger and stronger than all the others. From him, many more white bulls were born, each following the one before in great numbers. As I slept, once more my eyes beheld a vision of the heavens above, and I saw a star fall from the sky. It descended and mingled among the oxen grazing and feeding alongside them. Then I observed the large, dark oxen, and I saw that they had all shifted their stalls and pastures, intertwining their lives. They began to dwell together as one. In another vision I looked up again, and many stars descended from heaven, converging upon that first fallen star. These stars transformed into bulls and joined the cattle, pasturing among them. I watched in astonishment as these newly formed bulls extended their organs like horses and covered the cows of the oxen. From this union, the cows bore strange offspring, elephants, camels, and asses. Fear gripped all the oxen at the sight of these monstrous creatures. Terrified, they began to bite and devour each other, goring with their horns. The earth itself trembled with fear and fled from their presence. In the vision, I witnessed a terrible sight. These creatures began to gore and devour one another, and the earth cried out in anguish. Now I lifted my eyes once more to heaven, and in the vision, beings like white men emerged from the celestial realm. 4 of these beings stepped forward, accompanied by 3 others. The 3 who arrived last seized me by the hand, lifting me away from the earthly generations and elevating me to a high and lofty place. They showed me a towering structure that loomed above the earth, while all the surrounding hills appeared small in comparison. One of the beings said to me, "Stay here and watch everything that happens to these elephants, camels, and asses, as well as the stars and the oxen. Observe all that befalls them." In the vision, I saw one of the first 4 beings who had come forth. He seized the original star that had fallen from heaven, binding it hand and foot before casting it into a narrow, deep, and dreadful abyss. Then another being drew a sword and handed it to the elephants, camels, and asses. Armed with this weapon, they began to strike each other, causing the earth to quake with the intensity of their conflict. As I watched, one of the 4 beings who had descended from heaven began to hurl stones at these creatures. He gathered all the great stars, whose organs resembled those of horses, bound them hand and foot, and cast them into the same abyss of the earth, leaving them confined and helpless. One of the four beings approached the white bull and revealed a profound secret to him, causing no fear. The bull transformed into a man, constructed a magnificent vessel for himself, and dwelt within it alongside him. 3 other bulls took refuge in the vessel, their presence shielded within. Once more, I directed my gaze towards the heavens and beheld a towering roof adorned with 7 torrents of water. These torrents poured forth an abundance of water into a vast enclosure. I looked again, and fountains erupted on the floor of that great enclosure, causing the water to rise and swell. The enclosure gradually filled with water until it was entirely submerged. As the water deepened, darkness and mist thickened. The water crested above the enclosure's height and began to overflow, covering the earth beneath. All the cattle within the enclosure were gathered together, and I watched as they sank, consumed by the rising waters, and perished within their depths. The vessel, however, remained afloat, while all the oxen, elephants, camels, and asses sank beneath the water, disappearing from sight and meeting their doom. In the vision, I saw the torrents recede from the towering roof, revealing the earth's surface. Chasms were filled, and new abysses opened up. The waters drained into these new chasms, making the earth visible once again. The vessel settled on solid ground as darkness receded and light emerged. The white bull, now a man, emerged from the vessel, along with the 3 bulls who had accompanied him. One was white like him, another was blood red, and the last was black. The white bull departed from them. The bulls began to create beasts of the field and birds, leading to the emergence of diverse species: lions, tigers, wolves, dogs, hyenas, wild boars, foxes, squirrels, swine, falcons, vultures, kites, eagles, and ravens. Among these, a new white bull was born. Conflict arose among these creatures, but the newly born white bull fathered a wild ass and another white bull. The wild asses multiplied from this lineage. The bull born from the first white bull sired a black wild boar and a white sheep. The wild boar produced many offspring, while the sheep gave birth to 12 lambs. As the 12 lambs grew, one was given to the wild asses, who then passed it to the wolves. This sheep matured among the wolves. The Lord of the sheep gathered the 11 remaining lambs and brought them to live and graze among the wolves. The flocks multiplied, growing numerous. The wolves, terrified of the increasing sheep, oppressed them fiercely, destroying their young and casting them into a river of great waters. The sheep cried out in anguish over their lost young and pleaded with their Lord. One sheep, having escaped the wolves, fled to the wild asses. I witnessed the sheep's lament and their fervent pleas to their Lord, who descended from his exalted dwelling. In response, he called the sheep that had escaped and instructed it to warn the wolves not to harm the sheep. The sheep, following the Lord's command, went to the wolves, accompanied by another sheep. Together they entered the wolves' assembly and admonished them to cease their attacks on the sheep. Despite this, I saw how the wolves continued to oppress the sheep with all their might, causing them to cry out in distress. The Lord came to the sheep, and they began to fight against the wolves. The wolves, in their turn, lamented, but the sheep's cries ceased. I observed as the sheep left the wolves behind, while the wolves, blinded and enraged, pursued them with relentless vigor. The Lord of the sheep led them, his presence radiant and awe-inspiring. All the sheep followed him, their faces illuminated by his glory. The wolves chased the sheep until they reached a vast sea. The sea parted, standing as walls of water on either side, with their Lord guiding them and placing himself between the sheep and the wolves. As the wolves, unable to see, ventured into the sea, they followed them into the midst of the waters, their pursuit unceasing. As the wolves caught sight of the Lord of the sheep, they turned in terror to flee from his formidable presence. The sea, however, gathered itself and returned to its original state. The water surged and rose, ultimately engulfing the wolves. I witnessed the dreadful scene as every wolf that had pursued the sheep was drowned and perished in the swelling sea. Yet the sheep escaped from the watery deluge and ventured into a barren wilderness, devoid of water and sustenance. In this desolate land, their eyes were opened to their surroundings. I observed the Lord of the sheep tenderly pasturing them, providing both water and grass, while the leading sheep guided them. The leading sheep ascended to the peak of a towering rock, and the Lord of the sheep sent it back to the flock. I saw the Lord of the sheep standing before them, his appearance majestic, awe-inspiring, and fearsome. The sight of him instilled profound fear in the sheep. They trembled and quaked in his presence, crying out to the leading sheep, "We cannot endure the sight of our Lord, nor stand before him." The leading sheep climbed again to the top of the rock, but the sheep began to lose their way and wander from the path it had shown them. Though the sheep remained unaware of their deviation, the Lord of the sheep grew exceedingly wrathful with them. The leading sheep, sensing this, descended from the rock and found the majority of the sheep blinded and strayed upon encountering the straying flock. They trembled in fear at its presence and longed to return to their safe pastures. The leading sheep gathered other sheep and went to those who had wandered. It began to cull the wayward sheep, instilling fear in them, and thereby leading the strays back to their fold. In the vision, I saw the leading sheep transform into a man and construct a grand house for the Lord of the sheep, placing all the sheep within it. I saw how the sheep met with the leading sheep that had become a man, who then fell asleep. The grand sheep perished, and smaller ones rose in their stead, leading the flock to a new pasture and a flowing stream of water. The leader, now a man, withdrew from the sheep and fell asleep, causing great mourning among the flock. They cried out desperately for their lost leader. Eventually, the sheep ceased their cries and crossed the stream. New leaders emerged, 2 sheep taking charge where the old ones had fallen asleep. I witnessed the sheep arrive in a beautiful, lush land. The sheep thrived and were satisfied in this pleasant place where the house stood among them. At times, their vision was clear, and other times it was obscured until a new sheep arose to lead them, restoring their sight. As the sheep faced challenges from dogs, foxes, and wild boars, the Lord of the sheep raised a ram from their midst to lead them. The ram fought fiercely against the predators, ultimately destroying them all. However, the ram that had once been glorious grew corrupt and began to assault and trample the sheep, misusing its power. The Lord of the sheep appointed another lamb, transforming it into a ram to replace the fallen leader. This new ram became the prince and leader of the sheep. But during these events, the sheep continued to suffer from oppression by the dogs. The first ram pursued the second, but the second ram fled in fear. Eventually, the dogs overpowered and brought down the first ram. The second ram then took charge, leading the sheep. The flock multiplied and grew, while the predators fled in fear before the ram's might. The ram defeated the wild beasts, which no longer had power over the sheep. The ram fathered many sheep before falling asleep. A young sheep then succeeded him as ram and became the new leader. The house grew large and expansive, built for the sheep, and a towering structure was erected for the Lord of the sheep. This house, though low, was overshadowed by the grand tower where the Lord resided, and the sheep provided a full table before him. Yet I saw that once again the sheep strayed and forsook their house. The Lord of the sheep sent emissaries from among them, but these were slain by the sheep. One emissary survived and cried out over the flock, but the Lord saved it and brought it to me to dwell there. Many other sheep were sent to lament and testify to the flock, but when they abandoned the Lord's house and tower, they fell away completely. Their eyes were blinded, and the Lord wrought great slaughter among them until they invited their own ruin. He delivered them each into the hands of lions, tigers, wolves, hyenas, foxes, and all wild beasts, who tore the sheep to pieces. The Lord abandoned the house and tower, leaving the sheep at the mercy of the wild beasts. They were ravaged and devoured. In my distress, I cried out with all my strength, pleading with the Lord of the sheep to intervene, as the wild beasts continued to devour his flock. Yet the Lord of the sheep remained unmoved, even as he watched the devastation unfold before his eyes. He rejoiced in their being devoured, swallowed, and plundered, leaving them at the mercy of the ravenous beasts. Then he summoned 70 shepherds and handed the sheep over to them, commanding, "Each of you shall now tend to the sheep and do everything I instruct you. I will give you a specific number of sheep, and you are to destroy only those I command you to." He entrusted the sheep to their care, but he also called upon another and said, "Observe everything the shepherds do to the sheep. Watch closely, for they will destroy more than I have ordered. Record every excess and all the destruction they commit. Note how many perish by my decree, and how many fall by their reckless will. Document the wrongdoings of each shepherd." And to this observer he added, "Do not reveal this to the shepherds, neither warn them nor speak to them of their misdeeds. Simply write down every sheep they destroy and present the full account to me in time." The shepherds began to tend the sheep, but they slaughtered far more than they were instructed. They handed the sheep over to the lions and other wild beasts. The lions and tigers tore through the sheep, devouring them in great numbers. Even the wild boars feasted on them, and the shepherds set fire to the tower and brought the house of the sheep crashing down. Sorrow weighed heavily upon me as I gazed upon the ruins of the tower, for the house of the sheep lay in rubble, and I could no longer tell if any of the sheep had managed to return to it. The shepherds and their accomplices continued to surrender the sheep to the wild beasts, each receiving a fixed number. Meanwhile, the observer faithfully recorded in his book how many sheep each shepherd destroyed, and many more perished than was decreed. I could not contain my grief, and I wept bitterly for the slaughtered sheep. In my vision, I saw the one who kept the record bringing the book before the Lord of the sheep. Every name, every act of destruction was written down, and the book was laid before him. The Lord read it, sealed it, and set it aside. I continued to watch as the shepherds pastured for 12 more hours. In that time, 3 sheep turned back and entered the ruins, rebuilding what had been lost. They began to restore the tower, which was then called the High Tower. They also set a table before it, but the bread they placed upon it was defiled and impure. Yet, throughout all this, the eyes of the sheep remained blinded, and so too were the eyes of their shepherds. The sheep were delivered into the hands of their shepherds, only to be trampled and devoured. The Lord of the sheep, however, remained unmoved, even as his flock was scattered across the fields and mingled with the wild beasts. The shepherds made no effort to save them. Once again, the observer who had written down all these things took the book and brought it before the Lord of the sheep. He pleaded earnestly on behalf of the sheep and testified against the shepherds, laying bare their many transgressions. The Lord accepted the book and placed it beside him. Before the observer departed, I saw that 35 more shepherds were appointed to pasture the sheep, each fulfilling their term as before. Others took over when their time was up, continuing the cycle. Then I saw the sky darken as flocks of birds descended upon the sheep: eagles, vultures, kites, and ravens. But it was the eagles who led the assault. They began to feast on the sheep, tearing at their flesh and gouging out their eyes. The sheep cried out in agony as their bodies were devoured, and I, in my sleep, wept and mourned for the shepherds who had been entrusted with their care. The dogs, eagles, and kites continued their feast, leaving no trace of flesh, skin, or sinew. Only the bare bones of the sheep remained, and even those bones crumbled to the earth as the sheep dwindled in number. I watched as 23 more shepherds took up their duties, each fulfilling their period spanning 58 more times. But amidst this horror, new lambs were born to the white sheep. Their eyes opened, and they began to cry out to the rest of the flock. Though the lambs called to their elders, the older sheep were deaf to their pleas, their ears deaf to the truth. Then I saw the ravens swoop down upon the lambs. One lamb was seized, dashed to the ground, and devoured. Yet despite this, horns began to grow upon the lambs. Though the ravens tried to tear them down, in time, one sheep sprouted a great horn, and its eyes were opened fully. This sheep turned and gazed upon the others, crying out to them. The rams heard the call, and they all rushed toward the one with the great horn. Even after all of this, the eagles, vultures, ravens, and kites continued their merciless attack, swooping down upon the sheep and tearing into them, devouring flesh. And though the sheep suffered, they remained silent, while the rams cried out in sorrow and anguish. The ravens, desperate to overpower the ram, fought fiercely against it, seeking to break its mighty horn, yet they had no strength to defeat it. I watched as the shepherds, along with the eagles, vultures, and kites, called upon the ravens to shatter that ram's horn. They joined forces in a violent struggle, but the ram fought back with great desperation, crying out for deliverance. And then, before my eyes, the man who recorded the names of the shepherds descended from the presence of the Lord of the sheep. He came to the aid of the ram, revealing to it all that had been written. His arrival was the ram's salvation, and at last the Lord of the sheep appeared, his wrath burning like an unquenchable fire. Upon seeing him, all who had gathered, shepherds, beasts, and birds alike, fled in terror, scrambling to escape his gaze. They were cast into his shadow, consumed by fear. The eagles, vultures, ravens, and kites were all gathered together. and the sheep of the fields came as well, uniting with the beasts and birds in their efforts to break the ram's horn. But I saw the man who had written the book open it, presenting the record of the 12 last shepherds. They had wrought greater destruction than any before them. The Lord of the sheep saw this and was filled with fury. The Lord took his staff of wrath in hand, and with a mighty blow, he struck the earth. The ground split open, and all the beasts and birds of the heavens that had tormented the sheep were swallowed by the earth, which closed upon them, sealing their doom. Then I saw that a great sword was given to the sheep. With this weapon, they rose against the beasts of the field, slaying them in vengeance. The beasts and birds fled from the sheep, but none could escape their wrath. In the land of peace, a great throne was erected, and the Lord of the sheep seated himself upon it. The man who had written the book brought out the sealed records and opened them before the Lord. The Lord called forth 7 men clothed in white, and commanded them to bring before him the stars whose hidden sins were like the impurities of horses. These stars were brought before him, trembling in judgment. Then the Lord turned to the man who had been recording all the events and said, "Take those 70 shepherds, those to whom I entrusted the sheep, and who, acting out of their own will, slaughtered far more than I commanded. And behold, I saw that they were all bound, and they stood before the Lord trembling in their guilt. Judgment was passed first upon the stars. They were found guilty, condemned, and cast into a blazing abyss, filled with unrelenting flames, burning pillars of fire. The 70 shepherds faced their judgment next, and they too were found guilty. They were hurled into the same fiery abyss, their fate sealed. As I continued to watch, the earth opened yet again, revealing another abyss of fire in its depths. The blinded sheep were brought before it, and they too were judged. All were found guilty, and one by one were cast into the flames, where they burned until nothing remained but ashes. This abyss lay to the right of the house of the sheep. I watched in horror as the sheep burned, their very bones consumed by the fire. And then I saw that the house of old, the house that had sheltered the sheep, was being folded up. Its pillars, beams, and ornaments were all taken down and carried away, placed in a distant land to the south. But then a new house appeared, greater and more magnificent than the first. It was set up in the place of the old, its pillars stronger, its decorations grander. All the sheep that remained were gathered into this new house. As I looked upon the scene, I saw all the beasts of the earth and birds of the sky bowing in submission to the sheep. They made supplications and obeyed the sheep in all things. The Lord of the sheep rejoiced greatly, for all the sheep had returned to his house. In that moment, the 3 men clothed in white, who had once taken me by the hand, appeared again. They, along with the ram, lifted me up and placed me in the midst of the sheep, just before judgment was to commence. The sheep were now clothed in pure white wool, abundant and clean. All those who had been destroyed or scattered were gathered in the new house, and the Lord rejoiced with overwhelming joy at their return, for they were now good and faithful. I watched as the sword once given to the sheep was taken back into the house, and it was sealed before the presence of the Lord. All the sheep were invited into the house, though it could not contain them all, for they were so numerous. Suddenly, all their eyes were opened, and they beheld the goodness that surrounded them. Not one among them was blind, for all could see clearly. I saw that the house was vast and spacious, filled to the brim with the sheep. Then from among them, a white bull was born with large horns. All the beasts of the field and birds of the sky feared him and sought his favor, making petitions to him without ceasing. I watched as the generations of the sheep were transformed one after the other until they all became white bulls. Among them, the first one became a lamb. But this lamb grew into a mighty beast with great black horns upon its head. The Lord of the sheep rejoiced over this lamb and all the oxen in the midst of them. I fell into a deep sleep, and when I awoke, I had seen everything. This is the vision that came to me in my sleep. When I awoke, I blessed the Lord of righteousness and glorified his name, but I could not stop weeping. Tears flowed without end as the weight of all I had seen overwhelmed me. I wept because I knew that everything would come to pass, and all the deeds of men, each in their time, had been revealed to me. That night I remembered my first dream, and the vision filled me with sorrow and unrest. I wept for what I had witnessed, for the fate of all was laid bare before me. My son Methuselah, Enoch called out with a voice heavy with the weight of destiny, gather all your brothers to me. Summon the sons of your mother, for the word of the Lord calls me, and the Spirit has been poured out upon me. I must reveal to you everything that will come to pass, things that will shape eternity itself. And so, Methuselah went and summoned all his brothers, assembling the entire family. They came before Enoch, the children of righteousness, their eyes filled with anticipation, awaiting his words. Enoch stood before them and spoke, his voice trembling with the gravity of what was to be said. Hear me, my sons. Listen to the words of your father Enoch. Pay heed to the voice that speaks to you now, for I exalt you with all my heart. Love righteousness and walk in its ways. Do not approach righteousness with a heart. Do not associate with those whose intentions are impure. Let virtue be your compass, guiding you toward righteous conduct. For righteousness will be your steadfast ally in a world shadowed by transgression. He looked upon their faces, his voice laced with sorrow as he spoke of the impending events. He foresaw a surge of aggression across the land, a cascade of devastating misfortunes, and the zenith of all human depravity. It would be annihilated, utterly eradicated. Yet in time, inequity would resurface, and sin, coupled with violence, would reign supreme, intensifying its hold. As impiety and sacrilege spread like a contagion, and brutality in all its manifestations becomes commonplace, heresy will flourish unchecked. In those epochs, my children, a profound chastisement will descend from the celestial realms. The sacred sovereign will rise in his fury and descend to dispense justice upon the terrestrial sphere. The gravity of the forthcoming judgment weighed heavily upon him as he continued. At that juncture, all brutality will be extirpated at its source. The perfidy and injustice that have ensnared the earth will be obliterated beneath the heavens. The effigies of the nations will be forsaken, their sanctuaries consumed by flames, and they will be cast into a fiery reckoning. They will perish under the Lord's fierce indignation, eternally damned. But then, his voice resonating with hope, he spoke of a future beyond desolation. And the virtuous will awaken from their slumber, their eyes gleaming with wisdom, and they shall be bestowed with understanding. Following this, the roots of malice will be severed, and the wicked will fall by the sword. Every single one of them, from the blasphemers to the violent, they will meet their conclusion. Enoch paused, allowing the silence to permeate the atmosphere before resuming. And in that time, a new epoch will commence, the 8th period of rectitude. A blade will be provided to enact justice upon the oppressors, and the transgressors will be surrendered to the upright. Through their righteousness they will acquire dwellings, and a structure of eternal splendor will be erected for the grand monarch, a dwelling that will endure eternally. Then, in the 9th period, the righteous judgment will be unveiled to the entire world, and all the deeds of the ungodly will vanish from the earth. The world will be marked for ruin. His voice grew somber as he spoke of the ultimate judgment. Following this, during the 10th period, in the 7th segment, there will be the grand, everlasting judgment. God will exact retribution upon the fallen angels. The initial heaven will pass away, and a new heaven will emerge, more luminous than its predecessor. The heavens will radiate with a 7-fold luminescence, and thereafter, there will be innumerable periods extending into eternity. In those days, all will be goodness and rectitude, and sin will cease to exist, never to be mentioned again. Gazing upon them with profound empathy, Enoch stated, "Now I impart to you, my children, I shall reveal the paths of righteousness and the paths of violence. These I will disclose once more, so that you may comprehend what is to come. Heed me, my children. Walk in the ways of virtue. Do not follow the path of aggression, for all who elect the path of wickedness will perish eternally." Then, the testament penned by Enoch, the complete compendium of wisdom, lauded by all and a guide for the earth, was presented. It was inscribed for all his offspring who would inhabit the earth, and for the generations yet to come, those who would seek righteousness and tranquility. Enoch reassured them, "Let not your spirits be perturbed by the times ahead, for the Holy and Magnificent One has ordained appointed times for all things. The upright will emerge from their repose and tread the paths of rectitude. Their lives will be characterized by eternal benevolence and grace. The Lord will extend his favor to the righteous, granting them perpetual uprightness, and he will bestow upon them strength, so that they will be filled with goodness and righteousness, walking eternally in his radiance. Sin will be extinguished in the darkness, never to be seen again." And so, Enoch began recounting the revelations bestowed upon him from the celestial tablets concerning the progeny of rectitude, the chosen of the earth, and the seed of righteousness. "I speak to you now these truths. I declare them, having witnessed them in a celestial vision and learned them from the holy angels. I was born in the 7th of the 1st week, a time when judgment and righteousness still held sway. After me, in the 2nd week, great wickedness will arise, and deceit will flourish. It will be a time of conclusions, and though a man will be delivered, unrighteousness will take root again, and decrees will be established for the transgressors." He continued to recount what was shown to him. In the 3rd week, at its close, a man will be selected, and his lineage will become the seed of righteousness eternally. In the 4th week, visions of sanctity and righteousness will be granted, and a law will be established for all generations. In the 5th week, the edifice of glory and dominion will be erected to stand forever. But in the 6th week, blindness will afflict all who dwell upon the earth, and their hearts will deviate from wisdom. A man will ascend to the heavens, and by the end of this week, the house of dominion will be consumed by fire, and the chosen race will be dispersed across the land. He spoke of the seventh week, replete with apostasy and wickedness. At its conclusion, the elect of righteousness will be chosen to receive divine instruction, sevenfold wisdom concerning all of creation. And with great emotion, Enoch cried out, "Who among mortals can hear the voice of the Holy One without trembling? Who can comprehend his thoughts or witness the vast endeavors of the heavens? Who among humankind can grasp the expanse and length of the earth or the measure of the stars? Who could understand the secrets of the firmament?" These mysteries were beyond human comprehension, yet they had been shown to him, and now he passed them on to his children. And in that ultimate judgment he concluded, all will be laid bare, and righteousness will prevail eternally. Enoch, with a voice brimming with urgency and a heart heavy with the foreknowledge of what was to come, addressed his sons. "My children, I say to you now, cherish righteousness and walk in its ways, for the paths of righteousness are worthy of your trust. The ways of the unrighteous, however, will be suddenly annihilated. They will vanish as swiftly as they appeared. To some individuals in a future generation, the paths of violence and death will be revealed, but the wise among them will steer clear of such routes. They will not tread the road of destruction. But to you, my righteous children, I say this: do not walk in the ways of wickedness, nor traverse the paths that lead to demise. Maintain your distance from them, for if you approach, you will undoubtedly be annihilated. Instead, pursue righteousness. Choose a life that is set apart, and walk in the ways of peace. In doing so, you shall live, and your days will be prosperous. Cling to my words, keep them close in your hearts, and do not permit them to fade from your remembrance. I am aware that transgressors will endeavor to lead individuals astray, urging them to abandon wisdom, hoping to leave no space for her in their hearts. But do not succumb to these temptations. Woe to those who build their lives upon injustice and oppression, laying foundations of deceit. They will be abruptly overthrown, and peace will forever elude them. Woe to those who erect their dwellings on sin. Their very foundations will be uprooted, and they will fall by the sword. And those who amass gold and silver unjustly will perish without warning. Woe to you, the affluent! You have placed your trust in your wealth, but soon your riches will be stripped from you. You have forgotten the Most High in your days of plenty. You have blasphemed and lived in unrighteousness. And now you are prepared for the day of slaughter, the day of darkness, and the grand judgment. I declare to you, the one who created you will bring you down on the day of your downfall. There will be no mercy, and the Creator will find no compassion in your destruction. In those days, your righteous ones will stand as a reproach to you, sinners and godless alike. Enoch's heart grew heavy as he continued. Oh, that my eyes could become a cloud of waters, so that I might weep for you, pouring down my tears as torrents from the heavens. Then perhaps I could find some respite from this anguish that burdens my soul. But who permitted you to practice such wickedness and heap reproaches upon yourselves? Judgment will soon overtake you, sinners. To you, my righteous children, I say this: fear not the sinners, for the Lord will once again deliver them into your hands. You will enact judgment upon them according to your desires. Woe to those of you who pronounce irrevocable curses. Your transgressions will distance you from healing, and no remedy will be found for you. Woe to those who repay their neighbors with evil, for you will be recompensed in kind according to your wicked deeds. Woe to you, false witnesses, and those who deal in injustice. Your end will come swiftly, and you will perish without warning. Woe to you, sinners who persecute the righteous. You will be surrendered to judgment for your injustices, and the weight of your guilt will be unbearable. But as Enoch's voice rose once more, he turned to his faithful ones with words of hope. Be hopeful, you who walk in righteousness, for soon the sinners will perish before you, and you will reign over them, fulfilling the desires of your hearts. On the day when the wicked are brought low, your children will ascend like eagles, soaring higher than vultures. You will find refuge in the crevices of the earth, in the cliffs of the rock, and remain there forever, safe from the wicked. The world will groan and mourn because of you, but fear not. Healing will be your portion, and a radiant light will shine upon you. You will hear the voice of rest calling down from heaven, bestowing upon you peace. Woe unto you, sinners! Your riches may make you appear righteous, but your hearts betray you. Your wealth will stand as a testament against you, attesting to your evil deeds. Woe to you who consume the best of the land's harvest, who drink wine in excess, and who trample the lowly underfoot. Your judgment is near, and soon you will be consumed and wither away, because you have forsaken the fountain of life. Woe to you who perpetrate unrighteousness, deceit, and blasphemy. These will be remembered against you as a testament to your evil. Woe to you, mighty ones, who oppress the righteous with your strength. The day of your destruction is drawing near. Yet, for the righteous in those days, many good days will dawn, for their judgment will bring forth life and peace. The words of Enoch rang out, filled with passion and sorrow, as he delivered his warnings to the sinners and the righteous alike. Believe me, you who walk in righteousness, for the day will come when the sinners will be filled with shame and perish. In the time of their unrighteousness, know this: the Most High remembers your destruction, and the angels in heaven rejoice over your downfall. What will you do on that day of judgment? Where will you flee when you hear the cries of the righteous rising in prayer? You shall share in the fate of those against whom these words stand as testimony. You have walked in the company of sinners. In those days, the prayers of the righteous will reach the ears of the Lord, and the day of your judgment will come swiftly. Every act of your unrighteousness will be read aloud before the great Holy One. Your faces will burn with shame, and he will reject every deed that was built upon wickedness. Woe to you, sinners, wherever you may dwell, on the oceans or on the land, for even the memory of you will be a curse. Woe to you who gather silver and gold through injustice and declare, "We are rich. We possess everything we desired. Let us now fulfill our plans, for we have amassed great wealth, and our homes are filled with laborers. Our storehouses overflow like waters." But just as swiftly as water flows, so shall your lies be washed away. Your riches will not endure. They will swiftly depart from you, for you have acquired them through unrighteousness, and a great curse will fall upon you. Enoch continued with sorrow and fire in his voice. I swear to both the wise and the foolish. Many will experience the wonders and trials of life on this earth, but there will come a time when men will adorn themselves more extravagantly than women, wearing garments brighter than a virgin's, draped in gold, silver, and purple, displaying power, grandeur, and wealth. They will revel in their splendor as if it were endless. yet it will all pour away like water. In their lack of wisdom and understanding, they will perish alongside their possessions with all their glory and wealth. They will be cast into shame, slaughter, and utter destitution. Their spirits will be cast into the furnace of fire. I have sworn to you, sinners, just as a mountain does not serve as a slave, nor a hill as a handmaiden to a woman, sin was not sent upon the earth, but man created it himself. Those who commit it shall fall under a great curse. Women were not created to be barren, but because of the works of their own hands, they die without children. I swear to you by the Holy Great One, all your evil deeds are revealed in the heavens. None of your oppressive actions are hidden. Do not deceive yourselves, thinking in your hearts that you know nothing, that you do not see. Every sin is recorded daily in the presence of the Most High. From now on, you know that every act of oppression you commit is written down until the day of your judgment. Woe to you, fools, for through your foolishness you will perish. You sin against the wise, and no good fortune will be your portion. Be aware, you are destined for the day of destruction. Do not expect to live, sinners, for you know no ransom. You are prepared for the day of great judgment, the day of tribulation and overwhelming shame for your spirits. Woe to you who are hardened in heart, who commit wickedness and consume blood. Where do you find good things to eat and drink and to be filled? It is from the abundance that the Lord, the Most High, has placed on the earth, yet you will have no peace. Woe to you who love unrighteous deeds. Why do you hope for good things? Know that you will be delivered into the hands of the righteous, and they will cut off your heads without mercy. Woe to you who rejoice in the suffering of the righteous, for no grave will be dug for you. Woe to you who disregard the words of the righteous, for there will be no hope of life for you. Woe to you who write down lies and godless words, spreading your deceit so that others may act wickedly toward their neighbors. You will find no peace, and a sudden death will come upon you. As Enoch's words grew more intense, he continued to condemn those who reveled in evil. Woe to you who practice godlessness and take pride in falsehoods. You will perish, and no happiness shall be yours. Woe to those who distort the words of righteousness and violate the eternal law, transforming themselves into sin. They will be trampled underfoot upon the earth. In those days, you who walk in righteousness, prepare your prayers to be a testimony before the angels, so that they may present the sins of the wicked before the Most High. In those days, nations will rise, and families will be torn apart. On the day of destruction, the poor will abandon their children, even their nursing infants, allowing them to die. They will show no pity for their beloved ones. And again, I swear to you, sinners, that sin has prepared itself for a day of endless bloodshed. Those who worship stones, carved images of gold, silver, wood, and clay, those who bow to impure spirits and demons will find no help from them. They have become godless because of the foolishness of their hearts. Their eyes are blinded by fear, and their minds are consumed by dreams and false visions. Because of their lies and their worship of mere stones, they will perish in an instant. But blessed are those who accept the words of wisdom and follow them, who walk in the paths of the Most High and keep to his righteousness. They will not become godless with the wicked, and they will be saved. Woe to you who spread evil to your neighbors, for you will be slain in Sheol. Woe to you who use false measures and bring bitterness to the earth, for you will be utterly consumed. Woe to you who build your houses with the toil of others, with bricks and stones of sin. I tell you, you will find no peace. Woe to those who reject the eternal inheritance of their fathers and follow after idols, for they will have no rest. Woe to those who commit injustice, support oppression, and murder their neighbors. You will face the great day of judgment. The Lord will cast down your glory, fill your hearts with sorrow, and stir up his fierce anger against you. He will destroy you with the sword, and the righteous will remember your sins forever. In those dark days, fathers and sons will fall together, smitten by violence, as brothers will turn against each other, and death will claim them until rivers flow red with their blood. No man will withhold his hand, not even to spare his own son or his son's son. The sinner will not hesitate to slay even his most honored brother. From the first light of dawn until the setting sun, the slaughter will be unceasing, and the blood of sinners will rise so high that horses will wade chest deep in it, while chariots are submerged in the crimson flood. In that time, the angels will descend into hidden places, gathering those who have led humanity into sin. And on that day, the Most High will rise to execute his great judgment upon the sinners. Over all the righteous and the holy, he will appoint guardians from among his angels to protect them like the apple of his eye, keeping them safe until all wickedness is wiped away. Though the righteous may sleep long in their graves, they need not fear, for their rest is secure. The children of the earth will witness this. They will see the wise dwell in safety and will finally understand the words of this prophecy. In that day, they will realize that their wealth cannot save them from the consequences of their sins. Woe to you sinners, Enoch proclaimed, on the day of unbearable anguish. You who torment the righteous and burn them with fire will be repaid for your deeds. Woe to you hardened of heart, who stay awake plotting wickedness. Fear will descend upon you, and none shall be there to rescue you. Woe to you for the words of your mouth and the works of your hands, born from your godlessness, have earned you a fate worse than the fire itself. You will burn in blazing flames, hotter and more terrible than any earthly fire. And know this, the Most High will inquire of the angels concerning your deeds. He will question the sun, the moon, and the stars about your sins, for you have passed unjust judgments upon the righteous here on earth. Even the clouds, the mist, the dew, and the rain will testify against you because of your evil. These will be withheld, and the heavens will remember your wickedness. Go ahead, offer gifts of gold and silver to the rain, hoping it will fall again, or to the dew, so that it will descend upon you, but it will be to no avail. When the frost and snow with their biting cold and the raging storms with all their plagues come upon you, you will not be able to stand against them. Enoch then turned to speak to the children of heaven. The faithful, look to the heavens, all of you who are children of the Most High. Behold the works of the Almighty, and let reverence fill your hearts. Do no evil in his presence. If he shuts the windows of heaven, withholding the rain and dew from the earth because of your sins, what will you do then? And if his anger burns against you because of your wickedness, what hope will you have? You cannot plead with him, for you have spoken proud, insolent words against his righteousness, and therefore you will know no peace. Do you not see the sailors upon the seas, how their ships are tossed to and fro by waves, how they tremble in fear as the winds rage around them? They are afraid because their treasures sail with them, and they dread that the sea will swallow them whole. Yet, sinners, you who walk upon the earth, do not fear the Most High. Though all the seas, their waters, and their movements are his handiwork, bound by his command. He speaks, and the waters dry up, and all that live within them perish. And yet you fear him not. Has he not created the heavens and the earth and all that is within them? Has he not given wisdom and understanding to every creature that moves upon the earth and within the sea? Even the sailors tremble before the power of the sea. Yet you sinners, do not tremble before the Almighty. Enoch's voice grew darker as he foretold the day of reckoning for the wicked. In the days when he brings a terrible fire upon you, where will you run? Where will you find deliverance when he sends forth his word against you? Will you not tremble in fear? Even the lights of the heavens will tremble in great terror, and the earth will quake with alarm. The angels will move to carry out their commands, and in their fear, they will seek to hide themselves from the presence of the great glory. The children of the earth will tremble, and you sinners will be cursed forever. You will know no peace, but do not fear, righteous souls. Be full of hope, you who have died in righteousness. Do not grieve because your soul has descended into Sheol in sorrow, or because your body did not prosper in life according to your goodness. Be patient and wait for the day of judgment upon the sinners, for the day of curses, retribution. For when you die, the sinners mock you, saying, "As we die, so die the righteous." What gain do they have from their deeds? Look, they die just as we do, in grief and darkness. What more do they have than we? From now on, we are all the same. What will they receive? What will they see forevermore? They too have died, and from this point forward, they will never see the light. But I tell you, sinners, while you feast and drink, robbing and sinning, stripping men of their dignity and wealth, living in comfort and seeing good days, you do not see the truth of the righteous. Their end is peaceful, and no violence touches them until death. And though you say they perished as though they had never existed, and their spirits descended into Sheol in sorrow, you deceive yourselves, for their rest is in righteousness, and their reward will be revealed in the judgment to come. Now I swear to you, O righteous ones, by the glory of the great and honored, the mighty one who reigns in supreme dominion, by his immeasurable greatness, I swear to you this truth. I know a profound mystery, a secret hidden in the heavens. I have read from the sacred tablets of the divine, and I have seen the holy books where it is written. It is recorded that all goodness, joy, and glory have been prepared for those who have died in righteousness. I have seen that these treasures are written down for their spirits, and abundant blessings are set aside for you, far greater than what the living could ever know. For your spirits, you who have departed in righteousness, shall live on and rejoice. Your spirits shall not perish, nor will your memory ever fade from before the face of the Great One. You will be remembered through all the generations of the world. So do not fear the scorn of the wicked any longer. But to the sinners I say, woe unto you when you die, especially if you die steeped in the wealth of your sins. For those like you will say, look at these sinners, blessed indeed, for they have seen all their days in prosperity. They have died rich and honored, untouched by tribulation or violence. No judgment fell upon them while they lived. But hear this truth: their souls will descend into Sheol, and there they will be miserable in their great suffering. Into darkness they will be cast, bound in chains, and their spirits will be engulfed by a burning flame, where grievous judgment awaits them. Woe unto you, sinners, for you shall have no peace now or ever. And do not speak, O righteous ones, in despair, saying, in our troubled days, we have labored through endless toil. We have faced every form of evil, been consumed by affliction, and have become few, with our spirits broken. We have been crushed and found no one to help us, not even a word of comfort. We have been tortured and destroyed, losing hope of ever seeing life from one day to the next. We wished to be the head, but instead, we became the tail. Our labor has been in vain, yielding no satisfaction. We have been like food for sinners and the unrighteous, who placed heavy burdens upon us. Those who hated us ruled over us and struck us down. We bowed our necks to them, but they showed no mercy. We longed to escape from their grasp, to find rest, but there was no refuge for us, no place to hide. We cried out in our tribulation to those in power, begging for justice against those who devoured us. But our cries fell on deaf ears. They did not listen to our voices. Instead, they helped those who plundered and destroyed us. They concealed their oppression, never lifting the yoke of those who scattered and murdered us, forgetting the evil they had done and the bloodshed they had caused. Yet I swear to you, O righteous ones, the angels in heaven remember you for good before the glory of the Great One. Your names are written before His majesty. Therefore, take heart and find hope. For though you were once shamed by affliction, now you shall shine like the lights of heaven. You will shine, and you will be seen by all, for the very gates of heaven will be open to you. When you cry out for justice, your cry will be heard, and judgment will come. All your tribulation will be brought upon the heads of the rulers, and upon all who aided those who plundered you. Do not cast away your hope, for great joy awaits you, as glorious as the joy of the angels in heaven. You shall not need to hide on the day of great judgment. You will not be counted among sinners. An eternal judgment will be far from you for all the generations of the world. Fear not when you see sinners growing strong, when they prosper in their ways. Do not join them, but stay far from their violence, for in the end you shall be companions with the hosts of heaven. And though sinners say, our sins will never be uncovered or written down, I tell you the truth. Every day all your sins are being recorded. Light and darkness, day and night, they see your deeds, and nothing is hidden from them. Do not let godlessness rule your hearts, and do not lie. Do not twist the words of righteousness, nor accuse the words of the Holy One of deceit. Turn away from your idols, for all your lies and wickedness lead only to great sin. I understand another mystery. Sinners will try to twist the words of righteousness. They will pervert the truth in many ways, speaking wicked words, telling lies, and practicing deceit. They will write books full of falsehoods to justify their ways. But know this, when my words are written down, found truthfully in their languages, without changing or diminishing anything I have spoken, then righteousness shall flourish. The books will be given to the righteous and the wise, and these books will bring joy, uprightness, and wisdom to all who receive them. In those days, the righteous who have learned the ways of justice and truth from these writings will be rewarded. And in that time, the Lord Himself will summon the righteous to testify before the children of the earth. He will instruct them, for they are the guides of humanity, and will receive their reward over the whole earth. For I and my Son will be united with them forever, walking with them on the path of righteousness throughout their lives, and peace will be with you. Rejoice, O children of righteousness, for your time of glory is at hand. Amen. To you, you who have done good, Enoch proclaimed, wait for those days when the wicked shall meet their end, and the power of the transgressors will be broken. Hold on until sin is no more. For the names of the wicked shall be blotted out from the book of life, erased from the holy books. Their descendants will be destroyed forever, their spirits slain, and they will cry out in agony, wailing in a desolate wasteland, burning in fire, for there is no earth there to give them rest. Then Enoch beheld a vision. Before him appeared something like an invisible cloud, so vast in depth that his eyes could not fathom its bounds. In its midst a fierce flame blazed brightly, surrounded by glowing mountains, swirling and sweeping around in constant motion. Bewildered by the sight, he turned to one of the holy angels beside him and asked, "What is this radiant thing? For it is neither heaven nor earth, but a flame of blazing fire, filled with the sounds of weeping, crying, and the anguish of deep pain." And the angel replied, "This is the place where the spirits of sinners, blasphemers, and those who commit wickedness are cast. Here are also those who have twisted the words the Lord spoke through the prophets concerning things to come. For many of these deeds are written and inscribed in the heavens, so that the angels may know the fate of the sinners and of those who have endured suffering. Among them are the spirits of the humble, those who afflicted their bodies and were recompensed by God, those who were shamed by the wicked, but who loved God. They did not crave gold, silver, or the pleasures of this world, but surrendered their bodies to torment. Since they came into being, these righteous souls did not long for earthly sustenance. They saw everything in the world as fleeting, eating and lived accordingly. The Lord tested them greatly, and their spirits were found pure, so they blessed his holy name. All the blessings destined for them have been recorded in the sacred books. Their reward is given because they loved heaven more than life on earth. Even though they were trampled underfoot by the wicked, abused and humiliated, still they blessed me. Then the Lord spoke, saying, "I will summon the spirits of the righteous, those who belong to the generation of light. I will transform those born in darkness, who were not honored in the flesh, as their faithfulness deserved. I will bring them forth into radiant light, those who have loved my holy name, and I will seat each one upon their throne of honor. They shall shine with a brilliance that knows no end, for righteousness is the judgment of God. To the faithful he will give faithfulness, and they shall dwell in the paths of uprightness. The righteous will gaze upon those born in darkness as they are led into the shadows. Meanwhile, the righteous shall glow with resplendence, and the sinners shall cry out in bitter torment, seeing the glorious light of the righteous. But they shall be taken to a place where their days and seasons of judgment are already set." If you like this video and want to see more movies like this one, please hit the like button and share it. What movie should we create next? We'd love to hear your suggestions in the comments. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again,